Hey guys, Dev here. I was working on the next video tonight, but I ended up getting pulled into an impromptu debate. This time it was during a Lonerbox versus the World call-in show over on WHICK TV. And actually, I'm kinda happy I started that trend. I think I was the first one to do a Dev versus the World on Wix, at least in recent memory. And after that, Soypil had one, Pisco I think had one, and now Lonerbox. Anyway, I initially called in to talk immigration, that was a pretty short chat, but after I left, the stream derailed into a huge January 6th debate. Because all political debates on the internet are J6 debates nowadays, I guess. So I hopped back in, and the stream turned into an impromptu 2v2, with me and Lonerbox versus the two right-wingers. Enjoy!
Oh, this isn't happening. And then it keeps coming out that these things were happening. And so, like, maybe I'm just suspicious of all the governments now at this point. Like, I don't know.
Okay. Sorry, wait, just a heads up. I'm not talking to this fucking fat, lying slime fuck. Get him out. I'm not talking to History Speaks.
Dev or the other one?
I never lied. I mean,
piece of shit.
Oh.
Okay, so one quick question.
Sorry if we made you
Okay, right. Thank you.
Okay, sorry about that. I didn't know you had a block list.
It's quite small.
Okay.
Who was that guy?
History Speaks. I know that guy. I didn't know it was a block list.
know.
That wasn't on purpose. I just didn't know you had a blacklist, so I'm sorry.
I've never even seen
You
it
said
before.
fat, and it was like, damn, there's a couple.
Yeah, I was like, Dev, what did Dev do?
I literally have fat in my name,
guys.
yeah.
No disrespect.
Oh, yeah, you
No
do. That's
disrespect,
right.
people.
That's funny. Well, there's two of us, three of us now, four of us.
Okay, Dev, what do you got for Mr. Lonerbox?
I heard you guys having a J6 debate. I've come to join in.
Wow.
No, they're talking about election fraud specifically. But do you have an issue with Lonerbox specifically?
I kind of do. I'll just say real quick. Oh, wait, Gibbs left. I wonder if you can still hear me. Does he have his wireless headphones or something?
I don't know.
I'll talk to him when he gets back. Okay. Oh, there he is. Okay. Gibbs, I'm going to plug it again. Go watch my 4-hour J6 video. I go over all the evidence you ever want to see, okay? You're just wrong, buddy. I'm sorry. Okay. Lonerbox. I think politically we align on a lot of things. The only real right-wing opinions that I have are going to be on guns and on immigration. So I want you to blue pill me on the immigration question.
Okay.
Just because, I mean, I'm not in the UK, but I mean, Canada's had its problems trying to
What's
integrate...
your red pill on the immigration question? It depends on how far on what we're contending with. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Well, whenever I deal with immigration issues, I kind of frame it from the point of view that I'm bisexual, and there are definitely certain types of people, certain cultures that, if let's say they became the majority in a Western country, I would end up dead, and I don't want that to happen. And so I hear a lot about how the UK has problems with Islamic immigrants, how Europe's having these problems. Canada, not so much. Canada has different problems with different types of immigrants, but not that bad. America, like, I don't understand why the Americans are anti-immigrant, because all of their immigrants are like Mexican Catholics, which integrate quite well into American society. But with Islam, it's a different kind of thing, I think.
One, I'm just going to address something Gibbs said, and then I'll remember what you said.
Sure.
You mentioned Zapata from Milwaukee being convicted of fraud. She was trying to find fraud for in favor of the Republicans. She was trying to help the Republicans with what she did.
Vog.
Oh God, I remember that person.
Yeah, I was misspoke. It was Vog is her name.
So your misspeak was to showcase a Republican official
I showcased
who was committing fraud for the Republicans. Okay.
To be fair, hold on. To be fair, I pulled a Biden. I had a little dementia moment. The CTE is getting me. I argued this so many times that I said the wrong name instead of the correct one. It's Vog.
But to be clear, what this person was doing was she was using.
But I said the right title. I said the right title.
This person was illegally using a fake name to request military ballots, like absentee ballots. So yeah, she's
no. I'm talking about Vog is the lady's name now.
Yeah.
So
anyway,
wait, hold on, Gibbs, because
you were asking about immigration, but.
Just real quick, because I want to jump onto this, because Gibbs, like, you were on the Enrique Tarrio panel, and I was there too.
Yes, and I was meant to bring this up.
You used this exact example, and we told you then it was wrong for the same reason.
Right. No. I said Vog. I said the right name on that one, and I actually was I'm glad you're here now, because now I can claim victory, because now that person has been officially convicted of multiple crimes as of like 2 days ago. So yeah, I did say the wrong name now today, but on that panel, I said the name right.
Okay.
Vog
Okay, let's get back to the immigration stuff.
Thank you for that too up though. Also, send me the J6 thing. I'll watch it.
Sure.
You're asking about immigration.
Yes.
So first of all, I don't know if you're talking about like it's like the Muslims that are the problem in the UK specifically with migrants, because that's not really in terms of what like crime rates. Not really. The crime rates in the UK seem to come from the black population, like Windrush, and they've been here for a long time. They've been here since like after the Second World War. Like obviously like. It's obviously quite delusional to argue that like immigration doesn't bring its own challenges, whether they are like social or cultural, or sometimes it can be crime from specific groups and whatever else. But the fact is that like I don't know what the alternative is to it. Like, do we just say we're going to ban Muslim immigration? That seems like it contradicts quite a lot of liberal values, especially because if anything, like the majority of Muslims that come to the UK are coming because they obviously inherently want less to do with the countries that they've come from, right? Like UK is going to be less Islamic of an environment than Saudi or the Emirates or the Middle, or like anywhere in the Middle East, really. If we find that the crime rates in the UK from migrants are actually the highest among the black population, are we going to say we're going to ban black immigrants? No. So it just seems like there's something that's kind of inevitable, and we've had challenges with it in the past with other groups. We had challenges with Italians in America and Irish in the UK and America. I think it's just one of those other things, but I'm still yet to see a liberal democracy with that says no to immigration that does well.
Well, do you think that maybe the UK or other countries in Europe maybe does a poorer job at integrating their immigrants than America? Because America seems to do it very well by comparison.
Yep, I don't know what America's doing, but they seem to do a good job, at least when it comes to some communities. Yeah, like the Muslim community in America seems to be a lot less radical than the ones in Europe, but I don't know why that is. If I could see which policies obviously facilitate integration, because even within Europe, Paris and like France does a much worse job of it than the UK does, because the French approach, especially in Paris, was just to kind of like push them to the outside and make them someone else's problem, which meant that they were kind of like just very neglected, whereas they're a lot more intertwined in places like London. So yeah, if there are policies that facilitate integration, that seems to be what I would support. It doesn't seem to be there's anything in Muslim DNA that makes it difficult for them to integrate. It seems like there are policies that work and policies that don't work. And that's what I lean towards.
So I remember seeing, I can't find it now, but I did see it floating around here and there. There was basically warnings coming out of some Middle Eastern countries. They were saying, hey, don't go to the UK, don't send your kids to the UK, because apparently the Muslims in the UK are more radical than some of the ones in the Middle East. Have you heard about that? Or is that just like Twitter nonsense?
I mean, like some of the youths are, I have no idea what that means. No. I think the Muslim youth in Europe, like it's like second and third generation that are more radical than their parents, but I don't know how they're finding out that they're more radical than like the average Egyptian citizen, or that just sounds like vibes. Like there's a second and third generation issue, yeah, but I don't think it's anything to do with, I have no idea how someone would prove that.
Yeah. So I mean, what do you think the best way is to tackle that sort of radicalism without dipping into the reform policy of just deport them all?
I'm not actually sure which policies do a better job and which ones don't. Like, I think one of the things that people don't really want to do, and it should be quite obvious, is that when people talk about people who care about culture, like British culture or Danish culture, they need to have a much more updated and like relatable idea of what these things mean. Because when conservatives in the UK talk about we need to encourage Britishness, we have like the citizenship tests and things like that. But it's all about, you have to learn about the Tudors and the Stuarts and about like history that I don't even know or care about, or like pre-Henry VIII, or like the different tribes in like pre-Roman United Kingdom. Like no one gives a fuck about any of this. I think there needs to be an understanding that like we have always been a multicultural nation in one way or the other. If they weren't coming here, we were going over there, and there maybe needs to just be some kind of like, it's the same with the men's issues, to be honest. I feel like there just needs to be like a reinvention of a lot of these nations' identities, because a lot of it is just built on very old, arcane shit. And I think that would make it easier for foreigners to like identify with the country. Like Indians have a good time identifying with the UK somehow, because I guess we just did something better when it came to them and like their relation to the British Empire and whatever else after it ended. But maybe we need to find out what the same thing is with Muslims. But again, I don't know what that is.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, the way that I view it is like, you know, because I'm bisexual, because I'm an atheist. I look at, you know, let's say the Christian radicalism from 100 years ago, and there's a part of me that keeps saying like, hey, if we start bringing in people from the third world, they're going to be just as radical as the people from 100 years ago, and I don't want to live in that. You know, that's kind of my fear.
Dev, I wanted to say, you mentioned this earlier about the Mexican Catholics. Like I'm Hispanic. My dad's, you know, illegal from Mexico. I'm not Catholic though. I am Christian. I will say you're right about that. The thing I think people miss though, and this is important specifically here, at least where I live, is like the cartel factor. If it was like people coming here legally, like I actually think we should make it easier to come here, right? Like I want more immigration. I think Hispanics are maybe like some of the best people to get here because of what you just said. Hispanic Catholics, they're hardworking, et cetera, et cetera. Nobody questions who built the pyramids in Mexico. You know what I'm saying? But like I'm sitting here going, like, hey, when I look at it, the cartel is like deeply involved in the coyote system, right? And they come in here and they fucking get a Consuela here, and she's working for a hotel for 30 years, and they're making her pay a dividend on that, right? They'll make her pay like every year to some like person, so this long-term support for them. Or then they'll be like, hey, well, you don't have to pay us no more, but you're going to open up this hotel room at this day at this time, and that's a problem. And like that's part of the illegal immigration that we need to get rid of, and it's mean and it's hurtful because, you know, nobody wants to get rid of like, you know, nice, like, you know, abuelita, right? But like, hey, you're sorry, it's supporting the cartel tangentially, it's a problem. But I do think we should make it easier for more people to come here is at the same time, just legally. I think that's kind of where I'm at. I just wanted to clarify I think the difference between a lot of Republicans on this immigration issue with the Hispanics personally.
Right. I don't know what the stats are on, you know, how much illegal immigration is linked to that sort of crime. I don't know where that is.
I don't.
Yeah, people made this claim for the UK, but it seems like every time you look into correlations between illegal immigrants and them committing like crimes, it just seems to be like.
No, I'm not talking about. But hold on, Consuela's not competing crime. Like she's not like the only crime she like. Let me give you an example, right? Like Consuela, I will just use this person as right. If she comes here legally and she's worked the cartel, right? She comes here, she might never commit another U.S. crime, right? Except for giving a portion of whatever she earns to the cartel in perpetuity, or opening up a room one day, 30 years from now, like for them or some shit, right? But like that's still a problem because it's still supporting an organization that got them here illegally and then is getting money and like influence over an area because of that. Like yeah, that's a problem even if she never commits another crime. Like, don't you agree with that?
I'm sorry, I was tuned out for half of that. Like, is there any?
I mean,
I'm sorry. Is there any?
Go ahead, Dev. Go ahead, Dev. Please, Dev.
So, like, I don't think anybody except maybe the most radical, like, full open borders anarchist lefty would disagree with you that yeah, if there's crime in this, it has to be rooted out. Obviously, like. There was a woman who was in here earlier who was like trying to pull you more left, Lonerbox, and I'm just like, please don't, do not. We have too much far right crazies right now. We don't also need far left crazies. Like that's just no.
I mean, I've kind of come from far left. It'd be very strange for me to kind of go in and then go back out again. But yeah,
go back. Well, fuck, dude. When I was 17, I was a tanky. I know how it is.
Wow. We're bonding. Okay.
That's all I got, though. Yeah.
Fair enough. Thanks for coming in, Dev. Really.
Yep, thanks for having me on.
Of course.
See ya.
20 pounds from History Speaks. Okay. He's asking, the IDF systematically bombed journalists, perhaps pro-Hamas, but clear civilians, e.g. women, when they were home with their kids. Lonerbox is embarrassed. He whitewashed this kind of thing for 2 years. So he takes it out on me.
Okay. History Speaks is a fat, lying, slimy piece of shit who has literally admitted that his goal is to do reputational damage to me. Probably because I called him out on Cast Lead because he spent fucking the best part of, it would have been a decade, believing that Israel had massacred a bunch of fucking civilian cops. And then he was literally just fucking chomping at the bit and screaming inside because he couldn't disprove the fact that Hamas owned these deaths as their own soldiers. And he's still not over it.
No, but this is a shitlib thing. You say, oh, there's no fraud. And it's like, oh, well, actually, it's not only is it ongoing, but in the past there have been convictions. You're like, oh, so it's
no one is saying there's no fraud. They're just saying that there's no fucking new massive revelations that are just being made, which justifies Trump sending 2,000 fucking droogs without the cooperation from the state into the state. Then Nick Shirley basically asked if he could fucking leer at some kids in the leering center and was surprised that they said no at this guy turning up at their fucking doorstep, and now he thinks there's fraud. Trump is a fraudster, you understand?
Well, they actually dropped some of these charges in Georgia, if you recall, recently, and now that guess what? They're in Fulton County investigating it. That's interesting.
Do you agree that do you think the seven fake electors that's not fraudulent? That wasn't fraudulent?
It's not fraud. It's a strategy.
It was
There's a reason why
a strategy is not mutually exclusive with fraud, you fucking idiot. What are you talking about? It's a fraudulent strategy.
Yeah, why did they drop?
Was it a legitimate strategy?
Why did Fulton County specifically just drop their case against Trump?
Yeah, why?
Fulton County wasn't over the fake elector scheme. That was that was federal. What are you talking about?
Yeah, Georgia. He got arrested in Fulton County. I guess this is what's great. Facts are only convenient when they're on. Wait,
can I just see what you think you're proving here? Can you send me? Can you send me an article? First of all, this was 7 states.
Where do you think Trump got elected in? What do you think Trump got arrested in Georgia? Where do you think that was? Do you remember this? He was all over the news about every damn used as a talking point leading up to the election. They had photos of him getting arrested in Georgia. Like, where was that? Do y'all remember?
That was the mugshot. That was a fucking mugshot.
I remember the mugshot, but I'm asking you, this was just to be clear, this was a federal case. This was a federal case, not a state case.
What does that even mean? Why does that distinction matter?
They have to file in that location.
Can either of you explain to me why you think that the 7 fake electors was not fraudulent? Rather than technicalities, can you tell me? Why was it not fraudulent?
Because, I think it was a trumped-up case that they tried to get him on, which is exactly what happened. And now that's why the second
No.
Now
why was it?
Have more evidence.
So it was a valid thing.
It's proving this. And no, it's not a valid thing because the second case now has been dropped. And now they're talking about returning around and suing them and appealing this first case. So it looks like the evidence has swung the other way.
Not to mention the fact that Georgia admits that they didn't have signatures on ballots. They called
300,000.
I think Georgia 315,000 even. Gibbs, you're being charitable.
Right. I know you guys always think that you found these new fucking smoking guns.
This is false, right? They had signatures on the ballots. What they didn't have,
they weren't certified.
Was the like ticker tape, right? When you print out.
Be honest.
So
we'll be honest.
It didn't like they forgot to sign it. Right, to do a chain of custody
or it was
thing.
Fraud, and
but
they didn't sign it because it was fraud.
They recounted it, right, and then they did sign the ticker, the little ticker.
Well, obviously, if you'd snuck those in there,
there's no evidence they snuck anything in there. These
there's a reason why the second case was dropped.
Same results.
Lonerbox, let me ask you this.
I know they're investigating.
Out of interest, this Georgia case, this Georgia case doesn't say it's about but this Georgia case isn't saying it's about the slates, is it?
No, they're talking about something else.
George,
why are you doing that? The 7 fake slates are not to do with this case. Okay, what are you talking about? Really?
You would disagree that they're related? Like
that does not preclude you from having committed a crime. The 7 slates were a crime. No, they were fraudulent. They were not legitimate slates of electors that Trump tried to put through the Congress. Do you deny that?
Yeah. Okay. The argument we're making in Georgia right now is that part of what has happened was the election he said is not right, right? And he's saying it was no good. I'm going to try to put this as dumb as I can.
It was no good.
Yeah, no good. The fake electors, they has the word in the name in the word, right? Electors, that's tied to what? The election. And now we're seeing the same kind of thing in Georgia where he's raising questions and they're investigating and there's this chain of command with these like 315,000 votes, right? That this seems like where there's smoke, there's fire. And that's why this next case that involved Trump in Georgia, in Fulton County, where he was arrested, is falling apart. And when you go, oh, it's a federal case, listen, we have federal courthouses at the state level. You start at the county area, and then you go up, and you go up, and you go up. There's like levels to this shit. That's why
you're still not addressing my question. Even if we assume that because they found 315,000 unsigned early votes in Georgia, and that necessarily proves electoral fraud, which it doesn't, by the way, the question is still going to be, what's the argument here? That you believe that there's some fraud. You can't prove it because all the Fulton County evidence that they gave at the time was dog shit. Giuliani literally got fucking disbarred for it and got not the defamation through Fox News.
Then they just said he was right.
Just because if you have an inkling, no, they did not. If you have an inkling that there's fraud in a state, and the solution to that is like, oh well, I might be correct in 4 years, so I'm going to make 7 slates of electors that are fake and say that they're actually the legitimate ones.
If I can. Lonerbox, full stop.
No, I'm not getting a confession from either of you that this is a fraudulent thing to do. What else is it if it's not fraudulent? Were those slates legitimate? Were the slates legitimate? Were the 7 slates legitimate?
It was a legal strategy.
Can you answer that question? We can move. Hold on. We can move on to your questions, but can you answer Lonerbox's question first?
So I'm uninformed.
They'll never do it. Yeah, why would you be uninformed on that if you're just saying that Trump is fucking vindicated on the case? What the fuck is wrong with you?
Because you're not listening to the other fucking part of it. That's why. When you're ready, we can get there.
Trump did this in 7 states.
Are you ready? No, you're not ready.
What was his argument for doing this in Mexico?
Let me know when you're ready.
No, fuck you. What was this case for doing? This is 7 states. You're not exonerated because of what? Let's even say Georgia was okay. There's loads of fraud in Georgia. He actually won Georgia. Not true, by the way.
Then the whole fucking thing falls apart.
No, it doesn't.
Does that
mean the slate? So does that? So if really, well, really, because if Trump wins Georgia, that means the slate. That means the slate.
Go into the Giuliani thing.
If Trump wins in Georgia, even if Trump wins in Georgia, which he didn't, that means that New Mexico was not fraudulent. Seriously? Why? Why was the New Mexico slate not fraudulent? Why?
Before we go to New Mexico,
you're not going to answer the question.
In Georgia.
No, hold on. Can you answer the question that he found?
It's 7 states, by the way. You need to prove this for 7 states. 7 states. You haven't even proven one.
Because they're all. The answer is because they're all related. I don't think it was fraudulent.
Not all related.
Like I said earlier, it was a
trumped up
just to be partisan charge.
Hold on, so we can stick on one thing at a time. So just to be clear, your position is that you do not think that the 7 slates of electors, alternate electors that Trump had go to the Capitol to present themselves, that forged documents, you don't think that was fraudulent?
I think that it was not fraudulent based off of new evidence that's come out, like this Fulton County thing, right? When I'm sitting here seeing other related cases fall apart and be dropped,
so
when I see them,
your answer is no. You don't think it was fraudulent. Just to be clear.
No, yeah, because
answer just clear.
Yes, I've said that multiple times now. Just to be clear,
don't think it's fraudulent. Okay.
And yeah, I think it was a trumped up attack on Trump just to try to get rid of him through lawfare, which is what I think happened. And so we're going to sit here and when I look at this and I go further down the line, this next case has been dropped. We're seeing Trump go in and investigate. We have new evidence saying, oh, actually, this Giuliani, who do you remember him, had to pay millions for defamation. Right? Millions. They just admitted that Giuliani was right. Officials admitted this. Like some of the same ones that were
again, well, they can say that, but there's just they can say that and suck MAGA's fucking knob over it. But again, Giuliani was not right. Giuliani lied. He doctored he used a doctored video and lied about it.
He'll get the quote. He'll get the quote for you. He'll find it for you in a second. I'll finish this point. So when I see this, and it seems like a reversal to the point now Giuliani and them are talking about going back after him to get their money. Right? It's crazy to me that there's like I said earlier, there's no level of evidence you will accept where, hey, maybe there was something a little fishy going on.
Hold on.
Is this this 315,000 claim?
Evidence,
well, they think that 315,000 votes were actually fraudulent, even though can you just describe what happened?
Such a shit lib, dude. No,
that's not what we said either.
Oh, really? They weren't fraudulent. Okay, so the 7 slates were invalid then, right? Yeah. Okay.
I've never tried to put something on you that you didn't say. You have repeatedly stated an argument the wrong way and act like it's not what.
So why are you saying Trump
about these lefts?
Hold on. One at a time. Stop. I'm gonna have to stop. Gibbs. Stream Rift. What are you saying then? Give us a clear position, and then Lonerbox will deal with it.
Right. So Lonerbox, the claim is that, and this is from a Newsweek article. Newsweek isn't pure propaganda. According to Georgia, they say 130 tabulator tapes from the 2020 election. These are the tabulators saying these are valid votes. So this is the sleight of hand the Trump haters will use, is they'll say, well, the ballots were counted. It's like, well, but that's not the point. And they'll say, well, the ballots were signed. And like, well, that might even be true. The state of Georgia has laws for their elections. And they say, in order for us to know that these are valid votes and that there was all of the proper protocol followed, we require signatures certifying that these votes were collected properly. Because otherwise, someone could just dump a bunch of legitimate looking ballots in and stuff them in the box, and we don't know that they came in valid. That's the argument. So if you're going anywhere but that, that's not the argument. And state officials in Georgia have admitted to this. Go ahead.
Do you understand also? So you also acknowledge that Raffensperger, who's the Georgia Secretary of State, said that there's a minor clerical error, as in not like evidence of.
Yeah, this is the sleight of hand.
He's a Republican, by the way.
It's election fraud. But we're going to call it a clerical error.
Well, it is a clerical error. That seems to be what it is.
Polite on
that seems to be what it was.
When a fucking 130 tapes don't get the 2 signatures they need, they required 130 fucking separate sets of votes.
Substantial clerical error.
It almost looks like systemic. And here's the other thing. This is in the state where the state of Georgia gave shit to Trump. They said he was pressuring them there was 3 categories of votes that were disputed. And when he said, I just need 12,000 votes or whatever the hell, however he said it, there were like hundreds of thousands of fraudulent votes. And you guys will fight tooth and nail to act like this never happened. And you'll gaslight and say, oh,
wait,
well,
did you say 2 signatures?
Yeah, my understanding is on each one of these. So I'm looking at the article. I put it up on the old X so you can look at it. It's a Newsweek article. It's not some freaking, Drudge Report or anything fun like that. 100. Now, this is the Georgia State Election Board. So I know I'll walk you through American politics here a little bit, the way our government works. We have election boards at the state level that set the rules, and the federal government's not supposed to interfere with them. This is their own fucking rules. And in their own rules, they say this step is required. So why should they not be? Why should their citizens?
If I may, Stream Rift. So fair enough. That is required. They make their own rules. So they have a remedy if those rules are broken and not followed. And guess what? Under their rules, under their system, they followed that remedy. What was that remedy? It was to recount it so that they could make sure it was run them through again just to make sure it was accurate, and then sign them. So now the chain of custody is in place. So if we are going to admit that they're going to follow their own rules, what process was broken? Because something went wrong. They remedied it, and now it's good. What's wrong here?
So if I'm
you have a problem with extra oversight, double checking?
That's literally what happened. They double checked it.
Okay, well, so you have a problem with third check.
Not to mention that they audited when Trump asked Raffensperger to do it as well.
Well, why would they?
Why said that the audit didn't find any wrongdoing. Yeah,
Wait,
they didn't find 11,000 votes that were Trump's.
How they admit. It's just amazing how they admit something's wrong. And they go, oh, okay. And then this something goes, and we go, oh, hey, this is pretty suspicious.
Well, it's because
based
you're
on
using
a series of suspicious events. And then we go and investigate. Now suddenly there's admissions when before there had been none. Like, it's just like, before there was.
Hold on. If we check this, hold on. If this is a problem,
it didn't happen, and now it's.
Both of you, please. The problem I have with both of you is we could have 10 checks. We could have 20 checks. This could be the 1,690th check that we've ever performed. And you'd be like, why don't we just do one more? Maybe it was wrong this time.
Well, I was just told.
There's always going to be more that you want to show it's solidified. We had a process, right? It was double checked. It was triple checked, right? They had an audit, for God's sakes. Like, there has been no evidence found that this was fraudulent in any way, shape, or form.
Yeah, who was investigating? The Biden administration?
Let me real quick. Wick, here's the thing. One, if the remedy is to recount it for the lack of tabulator, I'm just going to take at face value, grant what you're saying is correct.
Rerun it through, right?
Right, so they say we can't verify these. We're going
to... There's a new tape printout, then you sign it.
So let's just assume that that's true. And I'm not even doing that like, oh, well, let's just say it's true. At a minimum, stop fucking bitching at conservatives for saying there was fuckery. Stop saying these are the most sanitized, clean, that there's no problems, everything's all gorgeous, because this was a problem. And this is the amount of hell that has to be raised to even get the acknowledgement that there was.
They found an inconsequential error is the problem. Again, I'm just reading about this right now, but it seems like what you're saying is that you're turning this issue into something like fucking enormous. Because what it's saying here is that when they have these tablets, no, I'm not moving the fucking goalpost. What are you talking about? Goalposts. I'm sorry. This conversation started because I said the 7 fake electors slates were fraudulent, and you said, "Oh no, they found an irregularity in Georgia." Ugh. Like, that's not proving that the 7 slates were not fraudulent. What the fuck are you talking about? That's why we're on this conversation. And now we've learned that
it's really, hold on. It's just now we've learned that earlier.
Now we've learned that I'm not finished. I'm sorry. You guys ramble so much. You guys ramble so much, and I'm just trying to say. Now we're finding out that what seems to happen here is that there has to be a poll manager and 2 witnesses who print, check, and sign the tapes from the machines. And it seems that in these 315,000 cases, that some of the tapes were not signed, and that violates a rule. But it doesn't invalidate anything else that happened. The whole point is just to it's a clerical issue. That's all that is. What else do you think it is? What do you think? Do you think that 315,000 fake votes were cast for Biden? Do we even know who these votes were for?
Nobody said that. Hold on, nobody knows, because that's what the problem is.
Well, that probably means that if you're going to anticipate that maybe something irregular will be found in 2025, then I'm going to make a fake slate of electors for Georgia in 2020. It's so stupid. It's fraud. Trump committed fraud.
All right, I'm going to respond now. Listen, one. First, I was sat here and told for years there was nothing No question, right?
No.
And now
they just said that there wasn't outcome determinative fraud.
Okay, I'm gonna wait again. All right, you tell me when you're done.
They just said there wasn't outcome determinative. I'm gonna interrupt you I'm gonna interrupt you if you lie. Sorry.
Listen, fine. If we're gonna do that game, I'm just gonna interrupt you every time, and then everybody's gonna get mad at me. But we'll do that.
Did I not correct what you said? What did I just say?
Okay, can I? I'll just.
Did I not correct what you just said?
Well, you're wrong, and you're missing.
What did I say? What you think people were? The official line was no fraud has ever happened in this election. This is the cleanest. This is like this election is 100% beyond reproach. There is not 1% fraud. Who said there's not 1% fraud?
Hold on, I have heard from numerous people on many panels, and it's rich and ironic that earlier
hold on, I just got to interrupt real quick. What he's asking isn't that you ever heard it from some Twitter
answer?
guy.
I would like to answer.
I would like to answer. We got to be.
I already know what you're going to say.
No, because we're just going to loop unless we answer each other correctly, and we got the correct response to the correct question. He's not asking, did you ever
I know what he's asking.
Twitter rando or Twitch chatter or YouTube chatter this? He's asking, did you ever hear this from a party official?
Can I speak now?
And the question is, did you actually hear that there is zero fraud at all? Not like outcome determinative fraud, but just someone saying there's zero fraud. No one's ever committed fraud in this election.
I'm sure that Steve while I'm about to stop for uninterrupted. I can't even talk now. I'm so frustrated. For a second, he can go look up the party official that said this. But I've heard for many years that there was no fraud. Many years from many sources. Now, before anybody interrupts, this is the interesting thing. Earlier on this show today, you said, and I quote, I hate having to defend all these takes from all these other lefties as for one monolith, right? That's terrible. I don't want to have to defend some of these terrible things. Now, what you're doing right now, and it's so bad faith, is after you just bitched about it, you were sitting here trying to take everything that me and Streamwith are saying, which is very hyper-specific, and you're going and trying to apply all, Wick did this too, and y'all are trying to apply all this standard of all these other righties to what we're saying right now. So if we're going to do that, then we're going to just attribute all the bad shit. So I'm going to try to stay good faith and try to keep doing the hyper-specific and not doing this ticky-tack debate bro dunk game that you're trying to do. But we're going to keep going. We'll see how that goes. So what we're talking about is we were told there was no fraud by numerous sources. Now, I'm not saying you said that. I'm not saying Wick said that, but I've been told on this panel, on other places, there was no fraud. And then I've been told the other thing, which was, it wasn't determinative fraud. All these things, what we told. Now I'm hearing, after convictions, that, hey, guess what? There was some kind of question that may have happened here. And then I'm hearing, Dominion said there was no access to the shit for the whole time. Y'all remember the Dominion lawsuit with Fox News where they said all this shit and they got to pay millions? It's a big deal. In fact, it's a dunk that y'all use all the time.
Hold on, just real quick, Gibbs.
Please.
The Dominion lawsuit. What was the lawsuit? What were they convicted for?
Don't ask this guy a question. You're just getting a fucking license to go on the fucking.
I just want to finish what I'm saying. There was a Dominion lawsuit with defamation, slander, all that shit. What
was the defamation and slander? That's important.
Over the voter claims, the voter fraud, the election.
What was Fox claiming?
He won't specify.
Why don't you just say it so I can finish my point? Why don't you say the answer you want so I can finish my point?
The true answer.
Can't you just say it?
I just want because I don't know what answer. I've given it 3.
Don't know.
It's clearly not good enough. I do know. I know there's several answers. Why don't you just say? Just say I'm done. I want to finish my point. That's what I want.
Why can't you just say it? Why are you throwing a fit? You also lied about what happened in Fulton County. We want to talk about why the case was dismissed in Fulton County.
All right, you know what? I'll just wait.
Well, are you going to acknowledge why the case was dismissed in Fulton County?
I'm going to acknowledge.
You lied about that. I came on here because you lied about it.
I'm not lying about nothing. One,
why was the case in Fulton County dismissed?
Can I finish?
Why was the case in Fulton County dismissed?
You think this is a duck? You just look like an asshole.
You can't do it. You lied.
You lied. Why was it dismissed? I've been trying to make a point for 20 minutes.
Gibbs.
I've been trying to make a point for 20 minutes. You can answer, Wick. You give me the point you want to make real quick because you've interrupted me now. After I just wanted a second to finish my point. After letting him rant and interrupt me for 20 minutes. So go ahead, Wick. What is the Dominion lawsuits? I was told, all this shit with Fox. We all saw it. We all saw it play out. We saw this thing. It's a dunk y'all use on you all the time. This is why it's so bad faith to sit here and try Gibbs. Because I've heard this argument for fucking months. Right? Cool. Now what we're being told in front of congressional hearings is that there was access to Dominion from outside sources. Now, I'm still not sitting here and saying there was fraud. But when y'all are going to go, hey, Papa, there was none of this shit. And then we're going to have people giving congressional testimony saying, oh, this did happen. Oh, these guys did show up. Oh, there's this discrepancy in Georgia. Oh, there's the minutes by Georgia officials. And oh, hey, maybe Giuliani was right the whole time. Guess what? Yeah, I'm going to call bad faith games on what y'all are doing now. Thank you.
Okay,
go ahead.
So just to let everyone know, the lawsuit against Fox was because Dominion claimed, right, that Fox was lying and promoting that Dominion had rigged the 2020 election. They claimed that they were hacked, manipulated, switched votes, that they were purposely manipulated in order to switch votes from Trump to Biden. That was found to be false and found to be knowingly false because, again, as they went through the text messages and internal emails, the people who were pushing that lie were found to know it was bullshit and push it anyway. That's why they won their lawsuit. So when you try to apply it was because they said something entirely different than that. I just have issues.
Well, so you guys are saying there's no claim of, and we need to get back to Lonerbox here. This isn't the World versus Gibbs. Yeah. There's a Time magazine article that came out that was a big fucking deal, and this is the most bullshit contemporaneous admission.
Oh my god, dude!
Time.com.
Did you read that article?
Fucking mouth.
Did you read that fucking article?
I'm going to quote it right here.
Go ahead.
They were not rigging the election. They were not rigging the election. They were fortifying it. And they believe the public needs to understand the system's fragility to ensure democracy in America endures. So the lead in on that was the claim is in this article, oh, well, everybody's saying there's some secret cabal doing this. No, we're not manipulating it. We're fortifying it. So when in 2020, Time magazine says the election was fortified, and some people think, I don't know, I feel like that's sort of lipstick on a pig. That's Time saying there wasn't election fraud. It was election fortification.
Even with, it's funny because even I didn't know this claim, but even with your spin on it, this just sounds like the most nothing article. Even with your trying to editorialize it, you just sound like you're saying that they introduced fortification.
Are you a fortification denier?
How? Fortification in what way? What's wrong? Like what? Increasing increasing standards or increasing checks and balances, or what do you mean fortified? What does that mean?
Have you read this article, by the way? It's a famous article on the right wing. Have you read it?
Oh, famous? No, I haven't read it, no. But I mean, the way that he just characterized it made it sound like it was nothing at all.
Let Dev go, because I'm curious what Dev has to say.
Yeah, so the article's on Time, and it's called The Secret History of the Shadow Campaign That Saved the 2020 Election. And it's basically just...
Campaign that saved the election.
Yes,
sorry,
yes, and you guys have been triggered over it for 6 fucking years. You've been triggered about shadow campaign. You've been triggered about fortified. What the article actually says, if you read it and don't just go off to like fucking viral Twitter headlines, what it actually says in the article is that Trump was trying to pull apart democracy at every fucking turn. And you had all... Spin. No. That's the truth. It's in the fucking article. It's in the fucking... If you actually read the fucking thing, it's in the article. Listen, man, there's like all these different groups in the article. There's like private groups, there's public groups, there's Democrats, there's some Republicans, and they're like, listen, Trump's trying to rape fucking democracy, and we need to stop him. And they did successfully.
Right. This is literally organized election interference, and they admit to it. You don't fortify an election.
It's stopping Trump's election interference. It's stopping Trump's election interference.
Hold on, just give me a chance. Yeah, how is them saying, "Hey, we see"? Like, let me ask you: if you saw a bunch of illegal immigrants coming in and try to vote, and you stop them by checking their ID, would that be considered election interference?
Yeah, what are the ICE fucking brown shirts and the voter booths dribbling over people's shoulders, making sure they're doing everything properly in their eyes? That would be
so. Why the fuck have you guys? So
hold on, no. Answer the question.
Let me address what they were doing. Can I address what they were doing
directly, please? Would you consider something like that election interference?
No,
because they are trying to make sure that the rules are being followed. So when they have this shadow campaign, quote unquote, scary words, I know, what these people were doing was ensuring that the officials, that Trump, that all these people, what they were doing is they were ensuring that the rules were being followed. To call that election interference.
That's the argument that we're making.
Stop. To call that election interference is deceptive and, in my view, dishonest.
That's not what fucking happened, though. When the fucking Biden DOJ is pressuring states to say you can't clean up your own fucking voter rolls, Virginia says, hey, we've got like people on here that shouldn't be voting. We're going to clear this up. And then the fucking Biden DOJ literally goes to court over this to tell Virginia they can't fucking clean up their voter records. I think they did the same thing with Nevada. When we have this fortification team, they're not saying we just need, with your example, Wick, you're saying there's someone who I believe shouldn't vote, and they're making sure that someone that's voting is someone who should be voting. Here we're talking about manipulating process and procedure so that the will of the American people is subsumed by the agendas of this group of folks that go through and selectively nudge things to get the outcome that they want against the interest of the American voter.
But the problem
you just perfectly described Trump's behavior before and after the election.
I have the article on screen. I'm going to read this to you, okay, real quick. Trump has made it clear that this will not be a fair election and that he will reject anything but his own re-election as fake and rigged. On November 3rd, should the media report otherwise, he will use the right-wing information system to establish his narrative and incite his supporters to protest. This is exactly what happened in real life.
Yeah, but
if you read this fucking article you talk about for the past 6 fucking years, you'd know what happened.
Dev, please, and StreamRiff, please. You understand, StreamRiff, that when they were doing this, when the DOJ was doing this, guess who was president? Was it Biden?
So there's a
who was it? Biden? Was
okay, it was Biden
president when the courts, the DOJ, challenged these voter roll purges?
Oh no.
Can we also talk about why they were challenged?
Stop. I just want him to answer this question. Was Biden president when the DOJ challenged these voter roll purges? And there's a reason they did, and it's a good reason.
So I'm going to give you the fucking 20-second
I just want to get to
I'll answer it. I'll answer it by just saying yes. That's a factual claim. It was Biden. Fine. Or is Trump. Right.
Okay.
But here's the thing.
Now let
me fucking clarify.
Oh, no, I'll let you clarify in a minute. I got a couple more. I'm still asking you questions.
Oh, God.
Right? Okay. Still asking you questions. So if you knew that there was a group out there that wanted to get rid of the voter registration of people who were legally and lawfully registered to vote, do you think that the DOJ should come in and stop that group from doing that?
Yes.
Yes. That's what they were doing. The
Bullshit.
DOJ.
You're out of your fucking mind on that one.
You're not out of my mind.
The presupposition is that was Trump's DOJ. But that's like the part of the problem that we have with this fourth pillar of government is we do have an administrative state that pushes the agenda of the left. It doesn't matter if Trump's in office or not. Trump has more problems with the fucking FBI, DOJ than a ton of presidents.
Who appointed the head of the DOJ? Who appointed the head of the DOJ?
You're so fucking dense here. Trump appointed him. Doesn't mean he was a Trump loyalist. That was a mistake.
You want to? Thank you. Oh my God, I love you so much. You just fucking admitted you want a loyalist. That is not the DOJ's job is to be a loyalist. That's what you want, though. His problem is that he wasn't a loyalist. Bill Barr literally said he would vote for Trump again.
Being a loyalist is
bad. Hold on. I think what StreamRiff is kind of like trying to get at here.
The problem with Bill Barr is that he wasn't fucking Trump's.
He's a populist, right?
Fucking manservant.
He's not a true Republican. Right. So the people that are there that are Republican that have still been leftovers from before, the administration, those are not really Trump people, right? Even though they're tokenly probably voted for him, right? So he comes in 2016. He wants to clean out the rot. That's what he wants to do, clean the swamp. And so he appoints people in positions and he tries to work with people that are there, some Dems, some Republicans, because he's a populist, right? And so he got some people in office, but he didn't get enough, right? He didn't clean out the swamp enough, right? And so now when he's coming in the second time, in 4 years, he's had some people that survived the Biden, revenge purges. And now he's able to implement the system since he's been here before in a better way. And now they're actually trying to push their agenda. That's kind of what StreamRiff's alluding to. Yeah, it wasn't necessarily that it was just Trump's DOJ. It was like Trump's DOJ with all the Biden, all these people holdouts that were from back in the day. It's just like that.
They were under Bill Barr. Bill Barr was the head of the DOJ. He was the one who directed them.
Are you disagreeing that you think Trump went all the way down to the local level and went person by person was like, oh yeah, get rid of them, put my person in? No, because you're not supposed to do that. You're supposed to have civil servants who are usually bipartisan. They've been loyal to both administrations. You just don't know American history. Literally, the American history is full of them doing this repeatedly. When new people come in, they would just clean out the whole gut the whole government and put the new people. That's American history. Okay. It's been that way since our found. It is true. If you disagree,
apparently even Trump. But you're saying that Trump's. But even Trump's picks. Even Trump's
But
you're saying
that
the problem is it was even Trump's picks who didn't do what he wanted them to do. Bill Barr was Trump's picks.
Oh, that's not what I'm saying. No, now you're
attributing
something else I didn't say. Like,
give him this one. Give him this one. No, Lonerbox. Trump appointed a bunch of people that fucked him. Why is that so complicated to you?
What?
You guys
okay,
act like
okay. You must admit that Trump is. You must admit, is Trump a bad businessman? Is Trump a bad? Is he a retard? Does he just pick all these people who ended up betraying him? Did Trump just pick all those traitors? What?
He was using people that were there. Like,
by the way,
like
fucked him over. By the way, isn't it a coincidence
that they were like MAGA people?
Hold on, Lonerbox. Go ahead.
Isn't it a coincidence that their betrayal of him just happened to coincide with them not telling him exactly what he wanted to hear?
I think you're just
that's when he betrayed. That's when he got betrayed by them.
Position that you have, and you don't really care what the facts are. The fact of the matter is objective.
You have not given any
has been
facts.
So your
Trump. So your facts so far. Your facts so far. You're interrupting me every fucking 10 seconds. I don't know why you feel like you're so entitled. Like drove over you after 10 seconds. I let you guys ramble so much, and you say fucking nothing. So far, your position is, well, we're not saying there was fraud, but also there were all these irregularities that mean that the 7 slates of electors were not fraudulent. You are still not fucking answering me, by the way, which is quite disrespectful. What the fuck happened?
I said I don't know about the electors.
You don't. So
literally, I gave you an answer.
So why did you contest me when I said it was
detailed?
But you were so sure that it's not fraudulent, right? If you don't know?
The burden's on
how
you
are
to
you
say
so sure? You didn't say the burden was on me. You just acted like I was being fucking stupid to say that the 7 slates were fraudulent.
So I explicitly said it was a strategy. I already answered that. That's on the recording. When you said, "Well, what about the 7 electors?"
It was a fraudulent strategy. It was a fraudulent strategy.
It was a legal strategy.
It wasn't
legal strategy.
It's an illegal strategy.
Illegal strategy.
As in, like, if I'm a lawyer and I say, "Well, I've got this legal theory that I can murder this fucking toddler in the street,"
like Jack
that's
Smith
an illegal. That's an illegal strategy. That's illegal. Well, no, not like Jack Smith. Like fucking Eastman, who admitted that his theory would lose 9-0 in the Supreme Court. Like people who said behind the scenes that they knew what they were doing was illegal. Like Mike Pence's team who said, yeah, this is definitely illegal. This is not a theory. This is not validated by anything in American history. This is them literally saying we are going to break the Electoral Count Act. We are going to violate the law. Your legal theory is that you can do illegal things. Yeah, that's your legal theory.
Earlier, Lonerbox, you said this earlier. You said MAGA has taken over the Republican Party, right? The first term, Trump had to get in bed with the neocons, right? Mike Pence, old school neocon.
You have to.
He got him in there, yada yada. Bro, well, I mean, this is just the facts. You're just sitting there.
That's how I got the evangelicals. Without
he literally made alliances with the neocons after they got rid of Bush, Jeb, and all them. There was all these things to get them on board, right? Cool. We all know this. That's why you sometimes pick who you pick as the VP. Right now, when the last election, he didn't have to do that because he had enough momentum that he literally didn't even go to the Republican debates. He's just like, nah, I'm the guy. And he was the guy. It was just that kind of big boss move, right? Whether I like him or hate him. You yourself said this. So it goes to follow. Now when he's got this kind of cult of personality, whether it's good or bad, and all these people in office that have been there now for a while, some of them at the local, some of the mid-level, yada, yada, that he's going to be able to do more with his administration now that he has the levers of power than he was before when he had to make alliances with people he didn't really want to. Would you agree with that statement?
I'm just going to, again, neither of you are answering my question. I'm just going to go back to it. If I say that my legal
question, I'll make them answer.
If I say that my legal strategy involves breaking the law, that's not like a legal strategy, right? That's breaking the law.
That's a circular argument. You're presupposing that
literally
it's
made
legal
me answer
to use the
your question
electors
before I could even
approach.
talk a few minutes ago.
No, what do you mean? What did you just say? What did you just say? What did you just say?
So you're saying it's illegal to do something illegal. Structurally, fine, that's coherent. You're presupposing that the elector... Let me fucking finish. I will listen to you and I will answer your questions. I will always promise you that. If the elector strategy is a strategy that is unlawful, like they went through the process and they tried something. Our legal system is not based off... Like we frequently determine whether or not something's legal after the fact, but you have to put the theory forward. There's nothing unlawful about putting this theory forward. Like that's the issue. It's cleaner than fortifying an election the way everybody likes the timeline.
No, it's not. It's fraud.
And if you don't like the answer,
it's not
fine.
cleaner than fortifying an election. What are you talking about?
There's the answer.
Eastman doesn't even think that.
Did I answer your question?
Eastman said we should
Loner,
break.
did I answer your question?
No, you didn't. Eastman said we should break the ECA because he thinks it's unconstitutional. He admitted that he would lose 9-0 in the Supreme Court.
Stop. If you think so, was the elector scheme unconstitutional, or
No,
was the
he said
act
he
that they were
thinks the
disregarding
ECA, which has existed since 1887, was unconstitutional, and therefore they should just break it. As in, we should
then
break
it's
the
not
law.
fucking illegal, you dumb Brit.
It's not illegal. So if I believe, if someone just says, if someone
Marbury versus Madison, no, full stop. Marbury versus
it's
Madison.
not unconstitutional though.
All laws which are repugnant to the Constitution are null and void.
It's not unconstitutional though. Eastman admitted that he would lose 9-0 in the Supreme
Doesn't
Court.
matter if it is or well, you're shifting it. Then.
Is that a legal defense then? So anyone who commits, so anyone who anyone who commits a crime, so anyone, hang on. So you're just to be clear, if anyone commits a crime, they can just say, "I think that law violated the Constitution."
No. You're being dishonest.
Oh, okay. So Eastman knew that the ECA was not unconstitutional. He just said he just posed it as a theory to give Trump what he wanted because that's what he was fucking hired to do.
This is how we fucking challenge U.S. law. We start at the bedrock of the
Constitution. You break it? No, you don't. You don't break the law to challenge it.
ECA. Jesus fuck. So if we have this thing called the Constitution. When we got sick of the UK, we made
you don't respect it. You don't care about it. Don't talk to me about the Constitution. No, fuck you. You're not talking about the Constitution. You don't care about it.
We care about it so much.
Eastman knew it was
subsequent legislation.
Let Streamriff finish. Then I know that Dev wants to say a couple things too, so that's what order we're gonna go in.
So if anything violates the Constitution, it can't be unlawful to violate it. I'll clean that up. If the ECA is unconstitutional, it's not unlawful to acknowledge the unconstitutionality of it. That's why we have the courts. It's the whole fucking reason why we have judicial review. So you're saying, oh, it's illegal. And it's like, no, this is how our fucking legal system works. And yeah, it's complicated. Yeah, it's a little messy. But because you don't understand it doesn't mean it's illegal.
And just answer me in good faith then, Streamriff. If I thought that murdering you right now, that taking a knife and stabbing it and jabbing it into your eyeballs over and over again, if I thought that the laws against me doing that were unconstitutional, so I did it in order to challenge things, would you ever describe me as doing something that's just pushing forward a legal theory?
I do not see how those two connect with each other.
Because Eastman knew that he wasn't fucking going to have approval of the Supreme Court. Holy shit!
Let me explain the answer. Let me explain.
Can I? Okay, go ahead.
Hold on. Let me explain, and then
how is it
maybe we'll see how it is
kill
connected. Me? Okay, and maybe we'll understand each other a little bit better.
I'd love that.
Okay. I think that Eastman knew goddamn well that what he was doing was blatantly unconstitutional because just a reasonable person.
Yeah, he said it. He admitted it. He said it. He said it. He disagrees with these people. Fuck me.
Yeah, a reasonable person would never think that it was unconstitutional. A law against murder was unconstitutional, just like a reasonable person would never think that that particular law, the ECA, was unconstitutional. It's not a reasonable thing, right?
Well, wait, what about Jim Crow? They broke laws.
The ECA is not Jim Crow.
Did they not?
Yeah, and they admitted that they were breaking laws. MLK literally said, if you're going to break an unjust law, you should break an unjust law, but you accept the consequences as well, right?
And hold on. Then what happened? They went to court, and it was challenged on novel legal theory. Right, they're different.
It wasn't novel. It was based on already existing legal theory.
The laws were changed because some of the Supreme Courts, they struck things down and they forced people to do stuff. This literally is what civil rights was. They challenged legal theory in the courts and legislatively, and it is exactly what happened. Like literally, you just don't know U.S. history.
No, I do know U.S. history. You've literally just admitted you don't know U.S. history. The legal questions. No, sorry, just to correct what you're saying. No, just to correct exactly what you're saying. The legal questions around the civil rights issue had been more or less solved at the federal level long before the civil rights movement. They admitted this. They knew this with the NCAA and everyone else. They knew that even in the early 1900s, a lot of these questions had been solved, but the states just weren't practicing them, and that they needed to be strengthened. Not that, but again, even MLK said, and these people, they still acknowledged they were breaking the law. You guys can't even admit that Eastman was breaking the law. Even Eastman was aware that he was breaking the law. Even Eastman said he was breaking the law.
Nobody said that. Even if he did say he was breaking the law, just like they admit.
The whole reason we're having this.
You just admitted both of them said they were breaking the law. You just said, hold on. You just said MLK admitted they were breaking the law. And you just said Eastman admitted they were breaking the law.
Yeah, the difference is that first of all, the difference is that civil rights law, that segregation laws are unjust laws.
The only reason we're having this argument is because Streamriff refused to admit that what Eastman did in those fraudulent elector schemes was illegal. He says it's not illegal. It's a novel legal theory that he was putting forth. And
MLK also did a novel legal theory.
No, he didn't.
But
he said, let's break the law so we can change the law. That's what he said. He said, we are breaking the law.
Did y'all just...
Okay,
did
hold on.
Did you not
let me
say Eastman...
Here,
Clean
so
did you just say
I'm
Eastman
gonna ask.
legal?
No, it's time for me to ask my questions. Okay, so I got a couple questions for you here, Stream Rift. Okay, so from what I understand of you've been saying is you've been saying that the proper process in America is to violate the law and then fight that the law was unconstitutional in the courts, right? That's the novel legal theory route.
No, that's like a little schizophrenic of a phrasing, but
that's exactly what you've been supporting the entire fucking time, by the way. But
so the premise of this
here,
I'll just clarify.
Okay, go ahead.
Okay, so to make it real simple, we're not talking about something as black and white as murder. We're talking about election procedure. So if the ECA says you can't do this, but someone has a strained theory as to why it's not constitutional, our courts are full of these cases. And some of them make it all the way to the Supreme Court and get overturned. Go ahead.
Yep. And by the way, just to give the devil his due, I did in fact hear, the most secure election in history, but I heard that from mainstream newscasters. You certainly wouldn't hear it from anybody on this panel. That was obviously just bullshit, and I'm not going to stand by that statement. But okay, so.
Well, thank you, Dev. That's what I was saying earlier. That was my complaint. I appreciate it.
No, you didn't.
But by the way, you didn't hear it from Democrat politicians, though. You heard it from newscasters, and it was stupid, but still, it wasn't from Democrat politicians. So if that's how you view the novel legal theory situation, what should the punishment be for violating the Electoral Count Act like Eastman wanted? Should there be no punishment because he just thought it was unconstitutional?
Well, so let's just go just a touch deeper on this. There's always a risk that if you do something and it's illegal and it's determined later that it's illegal, that you're McFucked, right? You don't break the law. Like if so, for example, I think the real issue here is, and it goes at the heart of a part of like the way that our litigation works entirely, is if you have at least some fig leaf of an argument is what they were looking at here. They said, well, we can say this is unconstitutional. We can try to get it in front of a judge. Maybe we'll win. That's sort of how the lawyers and the courts work on these types of issues.
He didn't say that.
So what that means is to give you this for free, and Lonerbox, I'm giving you something for free here too.
You're not giving me anything. The truth is against you.
If not, it's common for folks to push it to the limit and then take it to a court. So the question of what happens so let's say that it wasn't unconstitutional. So let's say they thought it was, the court agrees differently, goes all the way to Supreme Court, we all say this is bad. We're looking at what's the harm, right? So if nothing changed, and they just pushed it and they didn't do the electors, unless there's something, and by the way, the fraudulent electors, the fake electors, they got a pass on it. In fact, the ones in Nevada ended up getting, so anyway, so to answer your question, like there's a risk that you're doing something that's illegal and there's consequences for doing things that are illegal. However, if we don't challenge law, then we don't get progress. Go ahead.
Well, if that's the case, do you believe that Trump should then be McFucked because it turns out that what he was doing it was actually illegal?
Mm-hmm. Supreme Court found it.
No.
Why not?
Why would it? So
I'll tell you exactly why, because you just said that sometimes you have a novel legal theory, you bring it to the courts, you realize that you were actually wrong about the unconstitutionality of the law, and then you get punished for it. And Trump was wrong about the unconstitutionality of the law, so he should be punished for it, right?
And I'm only asking just for context. You're not a U.S. citizen, is that correct?
No.
Okay, so we'll use WHICK's example.
I know how your system works
in the
eyes.
eyes.
Don't worry about that.
I'm not. That wasn't. Look, if I want to offend you, I'll be very direct with it. I promise. That wasn't a dick. So WHICK's example of stabbing me in the eyes. Then he goes, "Oh well, it's unconstitutional."
Just to
repeatedly,
I want to be clear. Just taking a knife and stabbing you in the eyes repeatedly over and over again. Yeah.
Not just one, both eyes, and repeatedly.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
And so there, if they're like, actually, that's not constitutional, homie's probably committed murder. So in this case, so they say, okay, we have this alternative elector approach, and it gets deemed unconstitutional. Well, in our legal system, if there's an injury, usually there's a cause of action and a remedy. And so in this, usually, if there's no victim in it, there's no harm, then there's no legal action. Now, New York made an exception for Trump, who paid a loan back and still got criminal charges on it. But in this case, I would say, what is what bad act? So, like, for example, well, no, let me just. I'm almost done.
What was the harm? Are you asking?
Well, they tried to defraud the American voters for one.
Let him finish. Let him finish.
So, Loner was saying fraudulent. Now, fraud is a defined term in U.S. law. And if there was fraud, so for example, they literally are like, there's a forged instrument in this.
Yep, there was.
Then that's fraud.
Yep. That was a What do you think the fake slates of electors are? They're forged.
Remedy for
They're
fraud.
forgeries.
Oh my fucking God, dude. So the point is, if they committed a fraudulent act, fine. There's laws for fraud, and we should follow those. But if they said, hey, we have actually, you know what, this isn't the right system. We have this other system. This is what should happen. And then they go, no, we're not going to take that. Then where's the injury? And that's how we chase that one. But like, yeah.
Well, sure. So I don't know if you actually looked at the case. So the case is U.S. versus Trump. He wasn't charged with fraud. Trump was not charged with fraud. He was charged with obstruction. And that's where the injury is that because he tried to do obstruction of an attempt to obstruct an official proceeding.
So referring to the certification of the election?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah, that's fucking insane.
Why is that insane? He did obstruct it.
I'll explain. No, bullshit. Because there was a peaceful transfer of power on the 20th, and nothing fucking.
He still obstructed it. It was delayed. What are you talking about?
Why
was it delayed?
No, wait. Because the charge is attempt to obstruct an official proceeding. The attempt itself is also a crime, even if you fail at the attempt.
You don't get let off the hook for doing it badly.
It wasn't an attempt to obstruct anything.
Yes, it was.
Yes.
What do you think they were doing?
They wanted
a
fair election.
No, they didn't want a fair election. He wanted to win. He wanted to win in states where he hadn't won, even in New Mexico. Did Trump actually?
No, the Dems stole it fair and square. I know.
Did Trump?
Excuse
me. Stream rift.
Oh my God.
Did Trump ever claim to have won in New Mexico before he filed a challenge?
Who the fuck cares? What does it have to do with obstructing a federal proceeding?
Because Trump tried to put an alternative fake slate of electors towards New Mexico where he lost by 10%. He didn't even assert fraud in the state. Trump didn't even assert fraud in the state.
How is that obstructing this proceeding?
Because he tried to pressure Mike Pence to say, you've got a slate of electors from the state that's certified that says Democrats won. I'm giving you this other one that's not certified by the state, that is not legal to certify. And I'm telling you, Mike Pence, you need to certify this one and make me president. That's what they said.
And what he should have done was certify neither of them.
No, he should have certified the one that was certified by the state, by the way. Trump didn't even assert fraud in New Mexico.
The whole
did he?
fucking point of the certification is to see if they're legitimate so that people can show up and protest.
Exactly.
And this time,
Trump didn't
the fucking conservatives are stupid. And I'm going to tell you why the conservatives are stupid. It was a fucking trap. If no conservative went to J6, lefts would have fucking nothing.
How many lawsuits?
Nothing.
How many lawsuits did
Stream Riff? We've gone way off topic here. So Stream Riff. Earlier you said that the whole novel legal theory idea is that you challenge it in the courts. And if you lose, you might get McFucked, right?
Yes.
You said that. Okay. So, because Trump was charged with attempting to obstruct an official proceeding, if he were to lose that case, he should be McFucked, right?
Well, it's not that he should be McFucked. It's that there's no legal protection for it. So if he didn't do anything for which there is legal accountability, there's no whatever, then no, he's not McFucked simply because he was wrong. There still needs to be an injury. There's just no get out of jail free card.
Okay, so with all that being said, you mentioned earlier there was the 300,000 unsigned votes in Georgia, right?
No, I didn't say unsigned votes.
Okay, what did you say? Sorry, tell me what you said.
And I'm going to correct the number, but I'm not beating you up on the number. It's 315,000, and the tabulator signatures weren't. So basically, the bucket of votes those were signed and counted, but the certification that they were valid votes was not, around 220 or 120.
Do you personally believe those votes were legitimate? If you had to guess,
I don't. They might be. I don't believe that those were legitimate.
So you think all those votes are just faked?
So I think that there's a lot of manipulation with the ballots, like physically like the ballots, like folks stuffing in ballots and folks like filling out ballots for more than one person, like stuff like that. So it raises a flag.
How many approximately do you think? Like 50%, 75%?
So I'll just say this. It raises a flag for me. I don't have an exact number. And it's even entirely possible. I'll give you guys this. For free, it might be they were legitimate and it was just an innocent clerical error. It just stinks to high heaven.
I love how this fucking reality denier is just saying, "Well, I'm giving you this for free."
I'm not done here. I'm almost done here. Just let me finish this. Okay, so what do you think the punishment should be for violating the procedure, even if the votes are legitimate? So, like, let's assume that all the votes are legitimate, but they failed to sign those rolls, right? What should the punishment be?
Well, so I believe the consequence, and we can do the punishment part later, but just for me, punishment's not necessarily where we're going to end up, but start with consequence. Consequence might be punishment. Consequence here is because those weren't signed, they look like, so under Georgia law, going with what Wick said, I'm just going to assume that what he was saying was true. I believe he's not full of shit. Was the remedy under Georgia law was to recount everything and verify and validate it. So as long as that got done under Georgia's procedures, then at that point, I think there's no more blood to be had. I don't know who we punish for that, because it doesn't sound like there's an actual injury. It sounds like, as framed here, it was legitimately a clerical error.
Okay, so what if they believe that the law requiring them to sign the rolls was actually unconstitutional, and they were just doing a novel legal theory by not signing it?
What do you think novel legal theory means?
No, come on, answer my question first.
I
know what it means, and
I'll answer it. You seem to keep using it in a way that doesn't seem to make sense, but that's fine. I'll roll with it. What do I? Repeat the question again. It's what should the consequence be for?
What if the people who should have signed the rolls believe that the law requiring them to sign it was unconstitutional, and they were just doing a novel legal theory by not signing it? They were simply challenging it, and they were hoping to fight it in court. It's the same logic as Trump and the alternate electors.
Yeah, that's exactly what Eastman did.
I'm as bored by arguing that point. I'll clarify. I think it's a nothing burger. I think if they were supposed to sign it and they said, I don't want to sign that because of my fucking constitutional right to not sign it. And then the state of Georgia goes, hey, that's fine. Let's just double check. Everybody says these are real. All right, cool. Then there's no blood to be had.
But they did double check. They did double check is the fucking point. They did exactly that.
Let me just real quick. I guess the issue is, and it's like really that Georgia was determined by such a small number of votes. It's like 11,000, right? And when we go and look, we're seeing other kind of irregularities where like all these percentages like match up very closely, kind of thing, like all across the board. So then we have this issue, right? There's a few different irregularities, and there's questions with patterns. And I know we can all either say there's good liars, bad liars, and statistics, right? You know, we can always make some bullshit up, right? I get it. When I'm sitting here saying I was told there was no chance of anything. Now I'm hearing maybe there's some questions, right? And I go and you'll go, 315,000, that's not determinative. Well, the election in Georgia was 11,900 or something like that, right? If I recall correctly.
Yeah, like 12,000, something like that.
Yeah, well, whatever. Yeah, it's close. So even if 275,000 of those votes were legitimate, well, then, even 30,000, like it wouldn't take a large portion. What if it was only 2 of those boxes of 100? I don't know how many of these boxes the votes they had, but like if it was just like 3, 4 of these boxes actually were like illegitimate, then they fucked it if they snuck them in. Like it doesn't take much to tip the scales, specifically in Georgia, and that's why I think people want to see an investigation. Now, I'm not saying there was fraud. I just want to say I still have some questions.
Gibbs, just to add to you a little bit here. This is one category of fraud in Georgia, and there's at least 3. There might have been 4. I forget all of it. But the whole framing on it is we're being told by the leftists, especially shitlibs, and not all leftists are shitlibs, but especially shitlibs deeply affected with TDS, is there was no election fraud. What are you even talking about? But there's multiple categories.
No outcome determinative electoral fraud is the actual claim. I don't know why you have to go to fucking straw man. It's outcome determinative fraud. I don't know why you don't just go with the main claim.
Well, if 315,000,
hold on. You guys both just went for a while.
That is determinative.
Well, they should show that it was fraudulent, though. They should show that those were fraudulent ballots that were actually like fake. They should show that again. None of you will ever in your entire fucking lives get around the fact that Trump tried to put a fake elector to New Mexico where he had no pending litigation. He wasn't even challenging the result. Anything. I think he filed his last challenge suit because he tried to, and then he tried to get Pence to certify. So Trump, just to be clear, these are the building blocks. I don't think you know what fucking evil you are owning up to right now. Trump lost in New Mexico by more than 10% of the vote. He didn't make any complaints and didn't say that they'd stolen the election from him. He had no pending litigation. He wasn't trying to challenge in the courts until 6 minutes before the deadline, after he had already created the fake elector. And then he goes to Mike Pence and says, you need to accept that. You need to accept that as the actual slate of electors and let me win in New Mexico. Right. And you think that's no big deal? No big deal.
Let him go through. Let him go through. And just to be clear, a little housekeeping for you guys. If we don't get another, let's say, $100 in the next 10 minutes, I'm going to start shutting this shit down because I don't work for free. Well, Lonerbox,
200.
Keep
200.
Going. No, 100 for now.
So yeah, it's not my fault. Yeah, you can say I'm angry and everything. Yeah, sorry, I like democracy and I like America doing the things that you literally love it that I'm angry because you held up a fucking sign behind you saying like someone's mad or whatever. I said TDS.
Mad, bro. My memes, man. You guys lose your fucking mind. I throw one fucking meme on the camera.
Yes, it's good to lose your mind when people are being this fucking evil. Like you literally just said, what's the big deal? What's the big deal?
Pence should have certified it.
You said, what's the big deal with Trump trying to get him to certify it? No?
So what my explicit claim?
What's the big deal? What's the big deal with Trump trying to tell Pence?
Certified.
No. Don't backpedal. Don't fucking don't backpedal.
I'm standing
What's the
on
big
my
deal?
argument. But go ahead. Where do you want to go?
Don't backpedal. What is the big deal with Trump asking Pence, telling Pence that he needs to certify it, not to say neither, which would also be ridiculous because Trump had no fucking pending litigation against New Mexico. Trump said, "Make me president."
Pending litigation for the fucking VP to say, "I think that these election results need to be reviewed." That's the whole point.
No, Trump didn't say that. Trump said, "Make me president." Trump said, "Don't." Trump didn't say that. Trump said, "Make me president." Also, yeah, Pence doesn't have that authority.
Cocksucker.
Why did you say, "What's the big deal?" Then why are you trying to gaslight me?
I don't think it's a big deal.
You're an abusive husband. Fuck you. What are you doing?
Okay, hold on.
Don't just defend a thing for 2 fucking hours.
And yes or no? Yes or no?
Stop defending a thing for 2 hours and then say, "I don't defend that." Yes, you did. You said, "What's the big deal?" What's the big deal with Trump trying to say, "Give me this state," even though I don't even have a claim against it for fraud and I lost by 10% of the vote?
The claim on it is that he didn't file a lawsuit, so he couldn't challenge it.
No, what's butthurt is a bunch of fucking fat magatards fucking falling from the walls of January 6th and getting fucking Ashley Babbitt killed because fucking fat Trump told them that they actually won the election, but it was stolen.
Thank you for the $100.
Trump also, by the way, denied Obama's election victory. He also denied the popular vote with Hillary Clinton. So, sorry.
Hillary's the leftist.
He's an election denier.
Time.
No, that not who has ever denied an election as much as Trump has. He denied Obama. He denied the popular vote with Clinton, and then he obviously got his fucking supporters jailed for 4 years on January 6th. Stacey Abrams got him. You're never going to match someone like Trump on it. Trump is still not over the 2020 election. He still thinks he won it.
Trump's awesome. We agree.
Streamers. Why do you think that the VP has the power to send back the electors?
This is a legal theory. It's a legal theory. The same one he uses to abuse his wife.
Because the whole point of the certification is to certify that it's valid. This is the reason why we have this set up so that the people can show up, and if they believe that there's something unkosher about the election, they can make that known. The whole ask of the protesters was more time to reevaluate it. So just don't certify it then.
Trump said, "Make me president."
14 days. They had 2 full weeks before the transition.
Dev, you're the J6 researcher.
We wanted 10 more days to look at it.
Dev, you're the J6 researcher. Did Trump not also say to Pence, like, "Yeah, you could just make me president. Just accept the 7 slates"?
Yes, he also said that.
Yeah, he did say that. Oh, okay, that's crazy.
He did also say that.
So you just fucking lied on behalf of Trump. Why do you keep saying, "Oh, he just asked for more time"? He was actually willing to make himself president without having more time.
You dumb fuck.
The protesters definitely would have favored the more time thing. The protesters definitely were thinking, "Let's just be a bit reasonable here. Let's just do a bit more investigating. If we lose, we will accept the result after 10 days." You think the protesters would have accepted the results after 10 days of investigating? Oh my God, you are so fucking cucked to a dictator. Jesus Christ.
Okay, so
better than
can I just say before we go on? Can I just say just real quick? We are continuing the panel for at least till 8 at this point.
Okay.
But so thank you,
I want to ask this. I want to ask
those super chats should keep coming in.
I just want to make an observation. Lonerbox, when he first came in here, he's pretty easygoing, pretty chill guy. But I think we've got him triggered now. I think you have unleashed Angry Box. Okay.
Hold on, that's not true. I got called stupid in the first 10 minutes.
Well, you are stupid, so that's okay. But I want to give it back to Dev to ask his question. Dev, go ahead.
Okay, so Stream Rift. I don't know if you fully answered me. Like, why do you think the VP has the power to send back the electors? Because you did say that earlier.
Yeah, the premise is this simple. So if the VP is supposed to certify the election, that's not a rubber stamp. That's everything looks good, I'm certifying this. And so when fucking however many people show up and say, actually, we think that there's something fucking wrong with this, the stuff with Georgia is still ongoing, we've got all this other stuff, can we not certify it yet? The ask at that time was not to overthrow the government, it was to appeal to the government.
I understand.
Yeah, go ahead. Yep.
So do you know what happens when you, like, legally, the procedure when you have 2 sets of dueling electors? Do you know what the VP is supposed to do?
I do not.
Okay, so if there's actually a legitimate question, the VP has the 2 electors, and he says, okay, we're going to retire to the House goes back to the House, the Senate goes back to the Senate. They have a 2-hour debate, and then after that 2-hour debate, they choose which one of the 2 is the legit one. All right? That's what happens in the ECA. Now, so what happened on January 6th is...
Which is not constitutional, allegedly.
Okay,
a strange legal theory. Yeah, go ahead.
By the guy who said that he would lose 9-0 in the Supreme Court.
Says a Canadian and a Brit. Go ahead.
No, but says Eastman, says the guy who came up with the theory. Do you deny that? Do you deny that
himself said he would lose? Yeah.
Yeah. Do you deny that Eastman said that? That Eastman said that he would lose 9-0 in the Supreme Court hearing. I don't know why you've skirted around that 10 times. Do you deny that? True or false? Is it true or false? I'm just asking if it's true or false.
Just wait.
It's a really reasonable question.
Your wife, yes or no?
There's a second part of this question. So on January 6th, Pence has 2 sets of electors. He says, okay, there's a conflict. We're going to go back to our 2 chambers and debate this for 2 hours. That happened on January 6th. And then that debate was interrupted by the rioters.
Okay.
You know this. No, just wait. You know this, right, Streamrift?
So let's just take all of that 100% at face value.
Yeah.
None of that. So the reason why it escalated so much was in no small part to the FBI that wanted all of this to go down. This was a trap for conservatives, so you guys could never talk about anything.
Conservatives are so retarded that God damn it.
Let him finish, and then you can respond. Go ahead, stream finish. I know I'd ask Gibbs. Streamrift's the content right now. Let's let Streamrift go.
That's fine.
Streamrift finish.
That's not true. Gibbs is too fly for this. Here's the thing: the whole premise of why this certification was supposed to happen was to give confidence in this. Okay, so you say here's the remedy, a 2-hour debate. So that gives the whole argument for, guess what? They obstructed a proceeding. So I guess to go back to an earlier point, Trump was charged with, I'm assuming you're saying that Trump was charged with obstructing the debate about
the 4 charges he was hit with in U.S. v. Trump was conspiracy to defraud the United States, conspiracy to obstruct an official proceeding, attempting to obstruct an official proceeding, and conspiracy against rights.
And
those are the 4 charges.
The first 3 are directed at the debate that they were stopping, and then the last one was saying.
The second and third one are obstructing the debate that was happening. Yes.
Defrauding is about the fake electoral scheme.
This is the problem I have with the last one. This sounds to me like just a civil procedure challenge, right? Which happens literally every day,
all the time.
It's criminal
all the time.
All the time when they say to break the ECA.
He said it sounds like civil though. It sounds like civil.
No. I'm just no. I'm not mean civil. I'm talking about it's a procedure, right? It's procedural, and they challenge this, and it's struck down, and it's called, oh, this is criminal, this is not. They challenge like locations, or this is all in that range, right? This is a very common type of legal argument that happens nationally at every level all the time, right? So when you're describing this and it's struck down, I'll bite the bullet, and this is why I don't care, because it sounds like it's a very simple thing that happens. He lost it. Oh well, so be it. Cool. Y'all right.
That's not what he did. He made a fucking cope song and dance about it for
they've done these other investigations. Then they've done these other investigations, and some of them have been overturned or now have been dropped, like the Giuliani, the one we just talked about in Georgia. Now we have admissions that Giuliani was basically right. And I see this, it seems a larger trend where, okay, he was right to ask questions.
He wasn't right. No, he wasn't right. He said that he won the election. He wasn't right. That's not been determined. Sorry. He was also wrong in the idea that the ECA was unconstitutional. He was also wrong in saying the ECA was unconstitutional.
One of the greatest. Determined. We're moving. All right. Well, that's good. We're moving.
This is one of the greatest threats to democracy, by the way. This woman being in the Capitol on January 6, 2021. Holy fuck! Thank God we made it.
Do you think old people can't commit crimes?
Was she psyoped by the fucking feds then?
Yeah, she must have been.
No, the people were pissed. The feds were in the crowd and they wanted this to go this way.
Dude?
Yeah, they were pissed because Trump lied to them.
You have this double
you guys are
narrative
so fucking obsessed with Trump when you think he's the only reason.
Let Dev go. Let Dev go. Yeah,
you have this double narrative where simultaneously it's like a Fedsurrection where all these people were like whipped into a fucking frenzy to go attack the Capitol, but also they were led in, they wandered around, it was all peaceful. It's like no. These two things are mutually exclusive.
That's not my story, you dumb fuck. That's not what I said.
Yeah, your story isn't. To be fair, Dev, that is true. This guy's story is incoherent. He'll just fucking bounce around all over the place.
Some of the protest was peaceful. Yeah. Some of it was violent.
It's not intelligible to him being.
Absolutely didn't try to prevent it from happening. They tried to stoke it and encourage it.
No evidence
and that
of that
was the trap why a bunch of fucking J6ers got screwed by the government. That's what went down.
They should still be in jail, by the way. They should be rotting in there.
Yep.
and it should have actually been an insurrection.
Well, okay,
that's the real fucking tragedy that it wasn't.
Maybe this is a mistake.
Even in a state where Trump was even in a state where Trump wasn't even claiming that there was fraud.
Being an insurrection, by the way.
Yeah, I know you would have. Because you're a degenerate fuck. You should be in jail for the rest of your life. I'm a rebellious.
I'm glad it wasn't an insurrection.
No, I gotta ask.
I'm glad it wasn't an insurrection. Just to be clear.
Say again, Gibbs.
I am disavowing. I'm glad it was not an insurrection.
Let me ask you this question directly. So you say that the feds purposefully stoked this. They riled the flames and they did it to trap and entrap people at January 6th. Do you have evidence of this? And what is your evidence?
I don't know if Gibbs trying to get on camera or not. I like where he's going with this.
I don't care. No, my camera hates me.
I don't care what Gibbs is doing right now. Just answer my
question. So it's not that the feds whipped them into a frenzy. It's that
you just said they did.
No, he didn't. He's incoherent, Wick. You don't understand. He's not incoherent. He's not consistent.
So
he can't remember what he said 10 seconds ago.
So there was a Vice documentary research they did where they were like, why are these people at J6? And their estimation, and this is, we can take it how it is. This wasn't like National Geographic or anything, investigative reports, but there were like 5 or 6 different types of groups that were there. Not just MAGA folks, 5 or 6 different types of groups. So what I believe is the environment itself was a tinderbox. Why I say it was a setup is because conservatives shouldn't have fucking shown up. They should have fucking realized something was up, something wasn't quite right. And
they should realize Trump is lying to us. Trump is just lying to us, and we're falling for it, and we're going to sacrifice our fucking well-being. We're throwing ourselves into jail. We're throwing ourselves.
It's not about Trump.
The protesters were literally there at a Trump rally.
The fucking election.
The protesters were at a Trump rally. They were saying to stop this deal. They were saying to hang Mike Pence. They
said fuck this. They said, oh yeah, the fucking.
They were there to try to keep Trump in power. That's what they were trying to do. They were trying to keep Trump in office. That's what they were trying to do.
Or maybe they just wanted their votes to count, and they thought that was.
No, they wanted their votes to count more than other people's votes. Yeah, they wanted their votes to count more, so that Trump stays president, even though he lost by 7 million votes in the popular. By the way,
Democrats are so good at thieving. Republicans need to get better at fortifying elections.
Okay,
they did a great job
here. Streamer. Okay, a little bit earlier. You said that it didn't really matter that Trump had no pending legislation in New Mexico. Can you explain to me why you believe that?
Yeah, because the injury is independent as to of whether or not there's a lawsuit filed. I mean, especially if you're talking about in a situation like this, we're talking about litigation in multiple states. You're going to triage where you're spending your resources on it. It doesn't mean that you don't have a claim because you're not putting forward. It doesn't help, but that's not dispositive.
Wait, are you saying that Trump didn't have the resources to put forward a claim in New Mexico?
All organizations are resource constrained, especially on a timeline, and litigation is incredibly resource intensive. And so I could see why he'd go after Georgia and maybe not put up the litigation in some other areas.
But Trump's a billionaire. He could surely file a claim, right?
Sounds like you don't understand the legal system in the US.
Yeah, you don't understand the legal system. If you got a legal theory,
he filed
you can
several.
You can totally just try to unilaterally. You can totally just try to unilaterally claim a state you're not even saying that you won. How the fuck? I didn't even wait. Trump didn't even say he won New Mexico, and he put a slate forward for it anyway, and told Mike to just accept it. Told Pence to accept it.
Well, if you're doing 6, why not do 7?
Why don't you live in? He did do 7. Why don't you just go and live in Russia where they can do this? Like, what the fuck?
Leftists will fight for to keep illegal immigrants on the rolls. They'll keep dead
people
the
illegal
on the
immigrants.
roll.
Okay, yeah. What did nothing came from that either? The fucking
I mean,
voters.
the DOJ literally files lawsuits against states to stop them from purging their own rolls over issues like that. Go ahead, Dev.
Which happened under Trump.
Yeah, this is because the precedent set in Hawaii 1960 was that you could actually do a dueling elector situation if there was pending legislation or a recount, or there was some actual real question happening, right? Like that's why, even though Trump was ultimately completely fucking wrong about everything, that's why you could actually have a reasonable debate about these two sets of electors for a place like Georgia, because there was actually still questions being asked. They weren't being asked in good faith, but they were being asked. The problem with New Mexico is that the question wasn't even being fucking asked.
So let me ask you this: how much?
Yeah,
do
but
you
it's
think
still a
that
legal
that
theory.
particular piece of this issue matters?
Sorry, I didn't hear you. Sorry, what did you say?
Okay, so let's just say for free, I'm going to say, Dev, you know what? I think for all of the research we had, especially because we're just talking about filing, not even aggressively pursuing, not all of the motions practice, it seems sloppy to not at least file something in that state. I'll give you that for free. I don't know why it matters, but I'll give you that point for free. It seems reasonable.
Okay.
So I give you that, then what?
I love how this guy gives you like basic reality for free. It's like H2O, that's water. Nice? I'll give you that one for free, guys. I'll give you it for free.
Aqua.
Well, then it makes the whole dueling electors thing for New Mexico even more flimsy. Because now Trump can't even say that.
But even if he
Trump can't even say that there's a claim happening here.
But even if he didn't do the New Mexico thing, right? So let's say that one was garbage. The other ones, like it's checking the box that you're talking about. So if we're talking about a material difference, right? You guys want to talk about like a material voter manipulation, something that actually matters. Does it matter whether there was 6 or 7 electors? I don't think so. So if you just want to say, oh, he should have fucking filed something, fine. He should have said something, filed something in that state. Or not put it forward.
So just real quick, is this you admitting that when Trump pushed forward the false electors in New Mexico specifically, that was fraudulent then? Do you admit that?
So
no, it's a legal theory.
It's going to sound like I'm being evasive. Maybe.
Yep, it's definitely going to sound like you're being evasive. What do you mean it's going to sound like you're going to be evasive?
The bullet. I don't say no.
You have been evasive. Now he's going to be evasive. What's he like when he's...
I want to know how...
I want to know what this guy's like when he's evasive. Oh my God, what have I been watching for the last 3 hours?
Just say no. Just say yeah. Just do what I just did. It's okay. What are they going to do? Yell at you? Like I.
So, Dev, okay. So, let's say he didn't file it with the New Mexico electors. Okay, no, okay. So we'll stick with your thing, right? Fraud. How is it fraud? Fraud has a specific definition. I'm not saying we have to pick a very particular pedantic one. Fraud is a defined term. So I can say, so let's say he put it forward and he didn't file that action and he should have. So let's just assume right now, premise one,
I can answer this. I can answer this. Why is it fraud? It's because the people who signed that document signed it knowing that it wasn't legit.
So
that's called fraud.
There's a signature of that has a material misrepresentation. You're saying?
Yes.
That's fraud.
They were representing them like weird.
Yeah, they made an alternative document. Like there's a piece of paper that's separate from the real one.
Yeah, they signed it, right?
And they tried to send it to the Congress.
And they came to the Capitol and presented themselves like, we are the electors. Because remember, electors actually go right to the Capitol and they say, oh, we cast our vote for X or Y or Z, right? They presented it.
To run with this, Ev, I have a question for you. So let's say there's 2 sets of electors.
That's why it's fraud. I'm just answering your question. That's why it's fraud.
Right, and I'm moving to the next point.
Signature on a document.
Right.
They shouldn't
okay, so they've got this false signature on the document. I'm building off of what you said, Wick. So they've got they've got this signature on it. You said earlier we have a 2-hour debate in the chambers about which electors to take. In that ECA, does it say that we then charge the electors that were found to not be the true ones to be fraudulent ones, and then we lock them up and there's a penalty because that's a fraud? Like, is there a mechanic? Because
I think that the people who signed the name on their paper should be charged with fraud. Yes.
Well, no, the ECA is what they're saying is the justification for this. So the ECA says if there's 2 sets of electors, then they go and debate and pick one. So in that mechanic, in that system, do we then execute the team that was not found to be the accurate one, or what is that?
Well, first of all, the EC also it's not every time where a law says what you should do if that particular law is violated.
No fucking shit, but it's an obvious conflict because if we have 2 sets of electors,
if it's no fucking shit, then why did you ask if it was in the ECA?
No, if there's fraud on it, then there should be a penalty. And so if the ECA doesn't list this, they know about the issue.
Because sometimes, and we can imagine,
I can answer this really easily.
We can imagine a scenario where it is not fraudulent, where there is, we're not sure. So Hawaii, I believe, did this back in the day, right? Where they sent they sent 2 sets of electors because they weren't sure which one was going to be correct after they did their recount or whatever.
And just to remind me, Wick, were those alternative slates, they were also certified by the states, right?
Yes, they were.
Unlike these state, right? Ones that were just like a couple of fucking retards who just wandered in with a bit of paper and said, yeah, this is the same thing.
Yeah. So they certified them both, right? So it's not fraud. They weren't doing anything fraudulent, right? And so under those circumstances, the ECA would, the Congress, I should say, would wait until decide which one was right based on the results of the recount in Hawaii, right? That's fair. So that's why it's not always fraudulent. What makes this one fraudulent is they said that they were certified. They signed their name saying they were certified, but the state didn't actually certify them. It was a fraudulent document. Does that make sense? Do you understand now?
So I understand the distinction you're drawing. So the claim is sometimes it can happen and it's not fraud, and sometimes it can be fraud. Is that a good distillation of what you just presented?
Yeah, based on intent, yes. Based on intent and the objective reality, yeah. And by the way, you asked for what crime it was. The crime is filing a false instrument.
Right. So if there's so I and going back full circle, if you are bringing this forward and you find out that you're wrong and it's fraud, like there's a fraudulent instrument, right? It means something when you sign your name to something and put it in front of a court,
right?
Or Congress, for that matter. Yeah.
So if that's the case, then how come you don't think that Trump should be McFucked for it, as you say?
So you're saying that Trump should be accountable for what the electors signed, but not the electors? That doesn't make any fucking sense. If anybody did fraud, it was the electors that signed that said that.
Oh, sure. So for example, a lot of the actual like low-level electors, they did in fact get charged with filing a false instrument. That did happen.
Yeah. Convicted as well.
Since they did a crime, Trump did a crime?
Well, no. Trump's crime is trying to bring forward those false electors as if they were true.
And he said this in his speech as well. That was the whole point in his talks with Pence. He wanted Pence to recognize the
when
fake
Trump was asking
slates.
Pence to do the right thing, what was the right thing that he was referring to?
He was referring to he was referring to accepting the alternate electors.
Yeah, the fake ones, the fraudulent ones.
I think he could have certified either.
No,
guys,
not by the ECA.
Use that word.
Well, they're fake. They're not certified. The ECA says they have to be certified. They're fake. Yeah. If some random person who's got no authorization makes a document and says it's the thing that's authorized, it's fraudulent. It's fake. No?
I would agree on that. But what I won't agree with is that the protesters showed up to say this election was McFucked and we want this to be certified cleanly. And so the whole electors argument gets away from the actual protesters argument that gets away from the exercise in democracy and representative government, which is we showed up, the conservatives showed up to protest what they thought was a stolen election. Let's separate the electors. Let's set that aside for a second, because that's a whole separate racket. The J6 was about protesting a belief that there was a stolen election. So why are we on talking about it's 7 states of electors, right? Total of less than 100 people. And I'm even giving you guys for free.
Stop. I love it when you give me basic reality for free. Trump was there saying, and he literally said this in his speech, that the point in going to the Capitol was to get them to certify.
Voices heard.
Yeah, he spoke for 55 minutes. Okay, I'm talking about the substance of the speech, the body of work, not just the little fucking piece of plausible deniability that you guys only remember about that speech. What did he say for the rest of it? He said we should recognize the slates of electors that are properly certified, meaning his ones, which are the fraudulent ones. I'm going to find the exact quote for you. What he asked them to do?
So let me ask you this. Will you give me the basic reality that not everybody there was protesting just because they thought Trump should be in office and that they had other grievances?
That was the bulk of the crowd was there for that, yeah. They thought Trump won the election and then he got stiffed. What do you think? What was the, or 90%? Out of interest, if you were to summarize what that whole speech was about, like the majority of it, the vast majority of
about the protest.
The protests that were following his speech where he said, we're going to go to the Capitol, that he put out on social media beforehand. What was the overwhelming body of that speech? What was it about? It wasn't about being peaceful. He said that once. What else did he say? Do you know? Of course you don't know.
So what is
you don't even
you're chasing?
You don't even
you're chasing.
I just want to relish in the fact that you don't even know. You don't even fucking know what Trump said at that speech. That's amazing to me. By the way, that is incredible. He spent the entire time rambling about fucking.
You can't fucking acknowledge.
Spent the entire time rambling about fraud and saying that he actually won these 7 states and that those people in Congress should be certifying the states as for Trump, not for Democrats, as in they should be accepting the false slates, not the real ones.
Lonerbox, what do you think the argument is right now? Trump bad?
Oh, right now, I think the argument is that I'm talking to a fucking... Yeah, the argument right now, there's not really an argument right now. I'm just talking to a fucking retard. Yeah, but it's just for the purpose of the audience.
I went from being the smart guy to the fucking retard. That's great.
When did I ever call you the smart guy? Oh, smarter than the fucking...
You did earlier.
Oh, yeah, sorry.
You did say between Gibbs and StreamRant.
Smarter than the fucking magician at the top. Yeah, okay. Yeah, smarter than the fucking magician.
This is called style.
Is Gibbs the smart one now?
I mean, listen, I don't know why you're mad.
I do want to know if you hold to that. If you hold to that, do you still stand by StreamRift as smarter than Gibbs?
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
Okay,
it's a tough choice.
Yeah, even after all this. Okay, carry on.
Gibbs is more kind of simple, whereas Rift is like kind of evil. I don't know.
I am a simple man,
like a degenerate cunt. Yeah.
I mean, Lonerbox, I want to try to just have one point kicked around in your head a bit, right? You want fine, ignore everything else that I said. One of the things that I really detest about folks that have the worldview that you do is you look at J6 and you say this was a monolith that was there for Trump. It's all about Trump, and as if it's not about the bunch of other things that all of these other groups are pissed about. They've been lost their businesses. They've been fucked on with COVID. They've been fucked on. There were a lot of grievances against the government, and their voice was being heard, and they didn't even get to let their voice be heard in an election. And you guys are so fucking obsessed with Trump.
They did get their voices heard.
Bad, and you don't give a fuck about what the rest of the people are actually there for.
Yeah, spare me the fucking crocodile tears. Yeah, spare me the fucking crocodile tears. They were there for Trump. They were chanting "Stop the steal," as in they thought the election was stolen. Trump said because Trump said you'll never take back your country with weakness. You have to show strength and you have to be strong. We have come to demand that Congress do the right thing and only count the electors who have been lawfully slated. Referring after Eastman's speech, referring to his fake electors. We demand Congress does the right thing and counts my 7 fake bits of paper that are not authorized that say I won, including in one state where I'm not even claiming that I won. Yes, he wanted to steal a state that he didn't even claim to have won in. And you're like, oh, what's the big fucking deal, you know? Some people are just upset about grocery prices. That's why they wanted to hang Mike Pence because they were upset about eggs. What are you talking about? What does this have to do with the price of eggs?
Yes.
Okay. Let me read some.
We don't have free healthcare, Britt. Yeah, super chat.
It's your fucking fault because you think it's communism.
It is communism.
Then don't complain about not having it. It's not my fault that when you get your fucking brain, when you get your fucking 18th brain hemorrhage, you'll have to pay for it. Sorry.
Okay, we're gonna refresh. We're gonna refresh. Okay, we got 30 minutes left, right? I wanna make a little money, read these super chats, and we'll get right for the last whatever. We'll get into it. Thank you for the tier 2 membership from Karen D. Hippie. Tier 2. What a gal. Thank you for that. Trib 1 for $5. MAGA's only answer for their side's wrongdoing is to exaggerate, lie, and or hope Dems did the same thing. So they whataboutism, which admits wrongdoing.
That works now, doesn't it?
$5 from Hell's Advocate. Ask the conservatives here to answer why the judge dismissed the Fulton County case. Tell them you want the quote from the judge.
Don't care.
Okay.
Don't care, hell. Let's go. I don't care if Trump's not even claiming to have won this state. You can have it anyway. Who cares? Vladimir Putin, let's go.
Can you ask, if no election fraud had been found by their standards, would Trump have been committing fraud then? If not, then why bother talking about fraud in the first place?
So if there were fraudulent, if the electors...
If there was no fraud, there's no fraud.
Okay. To our standards?
Right? Would Trump be guilty of fraud with the false
if there's no fraud, then no, because then the fraudulent electors team wouldn't be fraud, so there's no fraud.
No. You would have to prove.
No fraud in the election.
I got it.
Right.
You would have to prove to me, I guess, like if it was to my standards that there was no fraud, what would happen then is if they wanted to charge Trump or attempt to charge Trump, they would have to prove the intent that he knew without beyond reasonable doubt that this was an actual claim. Like I don't think though. There's actually going to be evidence. I don't think there would be enough proof to get
a 9-0 loss at the Supreme Court is still not criminal.
But I could maybe.
Okay.
So Gibbs. By the way, in that video that I linked you, there is evidence that Trump knew he lost and that he was just saying, "Oh, I'm just saying this for TV purposes."
Well, listen, and that would be taken into account. And if they can deem it enough, then fuck him. Like, I mean, like they got it, whatever. You know, like let's like. I mean, I'm not gonna die on the Trump hill. I just mainly like a lot of his policies. You know, there's a difference. Yeah.
Okay, $5 from a fat kid with a beard. Okay, didn't Trump pardon a bunch of fraudsters? Yes, he did.
Yes, he did.
$5 from Alishness. Quote: the votes needed to be counted again. End quote. Meanwhile, Musk knew the outcome of the election before the votes were even counted. That's not suspicious, is it? $5 more from the Trib. The two magatards are essentially arguing for the idea that there's never been a legit election. I need them to focus on every election outside of 2020. $10 from Captain Dan the Fireman. The claim is, and always has been, including from William Barr, Trump's attorney general in the first term, that there was never outcome determinative fraud. $5 from General Grievous. Gibbs, stop being such a whiny diva and grow a pair. Your hysterical flailing isn't fooling anyone. And Hugh Hefner's ghost called. He wants his jacket back.
I'll take that. Hey, Hugh Hefner.
$2.
You're fabulous for Vegas.
Nah, hey, we didn't like Vegas. You know,
look, the best Gibbs' best quality is his outfits. That's all I gotta say.
I'll tell you this. Maybe if I look like a magician, I can like David Blaine this evidence into existence. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. But like what I oh sorry, go ahead.
We got a little more. $2 from Thomas Olivars to say WHICK. Ask him to show his source. You're gonna have to clarify. $2 from Trib1. New title: MAGA versus Reality, featuring Lonerbox. $10 from Dirty Deeds. Let me back in. There's already too many. $2 from Hedonic Samuel. Has anyone seen Gibbs and Paul's ego in the same room? I don't know who that is. $5 from CR Weave Venture. What that funny feeling when the Scotsman is more knowledgeable on the false slates of electors than the Americans, Streamrift and Gibbs. Sit down, clowns. $5 from My Listening Library. Real damages are what we are still fighting for over it today, like the damages of the Obama nationality issue, or that too many people will still debate it. $5 from Treveka. Please ask Streamrift if he is okay with Trump coordinating and calling Tulsi Gabbard directly to deploy FBI for voter rolls in Georgia raid. If so, why?
At first blush, I'd lean against it because I think it's fucked that the DOJ pressure states about their voter rolls at all. So any federal intervention on that in general,
So you're against the raid in Fulton County that they did?
I said I lean against it. I'm hedging.
Unless Trump does it. Gobble,
Trump did do it. Trump did do it. That's what happened. Trump told Tulsi Gabbard to go raid this place, and she did. Okay, anyway, $2 from My Listening Library. The ask of the protesters were also to end Pence. True. $10 from the Justice, 35. LOL. Streamrift and Gibbs are just ass-pained that Biden beat Trump fair and square. Why can't magatards ever take accountability for their failed coup? Because they actually hate America. $2 from Robert Paulson. Dexter's meth lab on the bottom left. Meds, please. $5 from Jonathan Gendler. Will we get free and fair elections this year? Trump said he wants to, quote, nationalize and voting, end quote, after the Fulton County raid. Polling looks bad for the GOP. $5 from Hedonic Samuel. Trump sent them to do the crime, referring to the electors. No, it's the same mob tactics we have all seen him do for years. And finally, $5, well, not finally, more money's coming in, which we love, but fair enough. $5 from My Listening Library. If this was done the other way around, with Trump as president and a Dem arguing that the election was fake, you would be on the side of the government. And then finally, $10 from Numinax. After 3 hours of this, Gibbs and Streamrift have done very well. If their goal was to blackpill me entirely on ever considering that MAGA could even Velcro their shoes on correctly. Thank you for the $10. Okay. Sorry about that little intermission, but we got through
So real quick here, I know that the point of the stream is supposed to be Lonerbox versus the world, and you do have more callers. You want me to step out, Wick?
All right, it's up to you. We can. I'm suspicious that all these names aren't here for Lonerbox. That's all I'm saying.
You got a sneaky suspicion.
They want these hands. So.
Well, I guess, is there anything that you have, Lonerbox, that you wish that people had asked you or brought up that they haven't? I'm just really curious.
I'm almost regretting not bringing History Speaks in.
Well, I can DM him and get him here. You want me to do that? Yeah?
Maybe nah, it's fine.
You sure?
So Wick, from what I understand,
what if we can get some money on it, right? What if we can get some money?
What if someone pays you $100? Yeah, fine.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'll make you rich.
Boom. You guys
for like 2 minutes, okay? I just want a quick question. 2 minutes.
Give me $100. Okay.
But yeah, Wick, I looked into it a little bit. It seems like History Speaks is basically Lonerbox's ace. So if I were him, I'd be like, no fucking way.
Yeah. Well, I mean.
Like, he's literally someone who just fucking lies about me all the time. Like, it's, and he's just basically someone who, and he also, like,
that's what Ace does to me.
Like, he knows full well that I don't like to talk to him and I blocked him, but he still just, like, goes around the block and he sneaks into my Discord and he sneaks into my Reddit. Like, he's just a fucking freak, which is weird because I'm not even.
Wick, does sound familiar?
Yeah, that's rough. Yeah.
We all got people like that. Okay.
We all got stalkers. Yeah.
Okay. Well, if we don't get that money, we'll probably just start closing the stuff down. Gang, I guess while we're waiting to see if anyone will pony up, this is what I'll say. I've enjoyed this conversation. I've enjoyed the debate. It's been very fun. Tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern, we're going to be having Pisco. We're going to be having the Gen Z attorney, and we're going to be having Irrelevant. And we got one more coming, Lactoid. And we're going to be talking about Don Lemon's arrest. Don Lemon recently went in with a group of protesters and documented them protesting a church, which was against the FACE Act. Did Don Lemon violate the FACE Act? Should he have been arrested? We're going to talk about it tomorrow at 6 p.m. Eastern. So tune in. It should be fun. That said, anyone else got anything else? Or are we good?
I just want to say, Lonerbox, thank you for coming. We had some fun. I'm glad you felt like you could say what you wanted to say.
America would be a better place if people who think like you just all roped. But otherwise, it was fun.
Solid. Glowing endorsement.
The gulag, okay. Get the gulag, bro. We ain't got time for that. Face the wall. At least, hey, but hold on. At least we're admitting it now. We're at least admitting that we're just outright commies at the end here. I just.
No, commies will abduct you and kill you. I'm just asking this guy to do the world a favor. That's what's wrong with that? It's fucking voluntary. He doesn't have to. It's just a request. It's a simple request.
Yeah, it's not a violation. It's not a violation.
And it's just objectively true. It's objectively true that America would be a better country. I just don't know what to tell you. Like.
You know what I will say?
I was imagining a different kind of rope, I think, but okay.
Yeah. So Gibbs, what I will say is that at least during this conversation, you admitted that if everything we're saying is true, and it is true, that it's that Trump is guilty and that Trump is actually bad. Because most MAGA people that I meet, I've met people who are MAGA who are like, you know what? They say shit like, yeah, Trump should have actually tried to steal it because we want him to win. Who fucking cares? Fuck democracy. I've met some people who are in MAGA who are like that.
I'm not about that book because it's mainly because I'm not even really a true MAGA, right? Like I got all the books behind me. It's mainly like he said earlier in Trigger, but also it's because if you read what these people like Bright or Ghostwrite, you get a good idea of what they're gonna do, I think, and that's helped me make some predictions that I think have been beneficial to me and like going forward about like Trump policy stuff. And so like I have to look at the alternatives, right? And it's okay. It was this capitalist, basically New York Dem. That's now like a conservative somehow or like a populist versus like way far left, right? And so I had to choose, right? So I'm willing to throw him under the bus. If it turns out he's a diddler, throw his ass in the wood chipper. If he's over here breaking too many laws, I don't give a fuck about him. I just want the policies that are best for me to go forward. And, I'm going to die on the Trump hill. If he did something that's outright egregiously illegal, like, then yeah, fuck him. But I haven't seen to my standard that, sure. Like, but I'm also not going to die on the Trump hill. And so when people are like, you're MAGA, I'm like, no, I'm fucking ultra Gibby or whatever that is. We'll call it Gibbsism. I don't give two fucks about what MAGA. I only care about what's going to, hey, benefit me and my family and all my friends here. That's kind of where I come from. I vote local. It's really that simple.
Okay. Well, at this point, I think we're done. Lonerbox, where can people find you? And give a last shout out for everything and closing statements.
Lonerbox, YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, whatever. Yeah, let's go. Oh, sorry. Someone was speaking? Who spoke?
Me, sorry. I had one more contention with Lonerbox, but it's over.
Fuck it, why not? I don't care. We got 5 minutes.
Lonerbox, why don't you release any more fucking videos? You too, Dev, and you, Wick. I'm putting all three of you in the crosshairs. No more long-form videos? What is this shit? Yeah, I know. I'm fucking with you, though.
When have I ever fucking done a long-form video?
I don't think you ever have. I'm just giving you
Well,
but,
to be fair, I was actually supposed to be working on one tonight, and I'm doing this instead. Yeah,
we're
man.
I'm
in the middle. I'm in the middle of doing a video on why right wingers think Obama was divisive when he actually wasn't. I'm doing a video on that.
That's so.
Okay. I love you all.
Fucking Fox News and those guys talk about the Obama years is so.
I love you all. I'll see you guys tomorrow, 6 p.m. Eastern. Bye, everyone. Bye.
Wait, you're calling already?
Bye. Yeah,
bye.
We're done.
Bye.
We've been going since 4. Talk to you later.
Get to work, Dev.
No, I just thought you were gonna give everyone like an outro, but okay.
Oh well.
I think you forgot about that.
Who are these fucking nutters in your backstage, Wick? There's like 2 people here.
I don't know. If you want to talk to them, I'll bring them in. Sure, why not? I mean, I'm done on my end. I gotta go. So,
hey,
hello.
You can stay. Up? Look, Lonerbox, if you want to stay and fight these guys, stay all night.
Yeah, we'll give it a little bit.
I just gotta eat, and I got my dog needs walked and stuff like that. I gotta go. I love you guys.
It's nice to meet you, Lonerbox.
Hi.
I'm from the UK as well.
Hell yeah, I know. I can tell.
Yeah.
It sounds like it.
I also, it's nice to speak to you as well, Dev. I think we reached out a few times.
Yep. I recognize your name and avatar. Yeah, man. What's up?
Yo. First, I was just wondering if you had any consideration of the offer or not. I don't know if that's a weird time and place to mention that. I just thought,
Wait, the offer? Okay, I don't remember that much. Hold on.
The famous author.
See, I guess.
See, I told you he doesn't check his DMs.
Okay, listen, man. I get a lot of them. Okay.
It's all good.
I'll check them after. Okay, I'll check them after.
It's all good. It's all good. Lonerbox, I have one question. I'm gonna keep it as neutral as possible, in regards to context in general. In your professional opinion, what would be the best path forward for the UK given their election options coming up whenever? Pragmatically,
I mean, based on what's possible, I guess it would probably have to be some kind of anti-reform coalition, right? Like if it was Labour, Lib Dem, SNP, and Greens, I'd be for that. Even if the Conservatives want to get in, reform is they're different, they're exceptionally fucking horrible. Just whatever keeps them out. But it would probably, hopefully, be some kind of center-left coalition. I think it's very unlikely, but it should be. It should be likely.
Okie doke. I'll let the other person that came with me throw in their question.
Oh, alrighty. Hey, so hopefully this doesn't come off as too aggressive, Lonerbox, but question regarding Israel-Palestine.
Whoa.
Yeah, obviously. But basically what my question is it seems like every time I listen to you have those conversations, you basically have somebody telling you that they want a one-state solution and then give you 2 hours of conversation about why a two-state solution doesn't work.
Yeah.
And you never make them own the conclusions of a one-state solution. Which is okay, if there's a one-state solution, where's everybody going?
Because the problem with that is that you're basically asking people to because there is actually a privilege of defending a utopia because you can it's whatever you want it to be. The reason I wouldn't tell people to own what a one-state solution would entail is that it's all just hypothetical. It's all just they all just dismiss it as predictions and conjecture. Even when I say things obviously if Jews are a minority in the Middle East, they'll probably just get completely fucking steamrolled. But they're you can say that and you can get them to acknowledge that Jews have never really survived well as a minority in any other Arab Muslim country for the last 100 years. But then, again, you're arguing with a delusion. So I don't really know. They would never own this thing that's never happened is going to go this way because they just don't believe it.
I get that. Do you think that they would own the hypothetical? So, like, if you said
No, they wouldn't. No,
hypothetically, they wouldn't even own the hypothetical?
No, yeah, they think that one state, it would be like Rainbow Nation, South Africa, Truth and Reconciliation. They'd all get along and share the country and be happy.
Okay.
And it's Israel's fault that that's not happening. Exclusively.
Well, all right. You know the conversations better than me. I don't know how you are able to do that then, man. Good luck, I guess.
I mean, out of interest, like, what do you think they would like have to unavoidably own? Like, what scenario?
Well, okay. So, as a hypothetical, if you were to phrase it as, if there were a one-state solution and the big bad guy Israel were to win, where would the Palestinians go?
They were to win. When people say one-state solution, they mean they want a one-state solution for both groups, right? Usually they'll say both groups should share the land.
That, but like what you're saying, by phrasing it in that way, you're saying, and things don't go the way you want.
Yeah. So you mean like civil war? Like if it descends into a civil war?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. Well, obviously that is what would happen. I mean, you can, if you want to get that out of them, like a simple question would be, for the two-state solution, we have loads of proposals, right? And they detail Jerusalem, refugees, security, borders, what happens to the militaries of each state and where they can go and everything, what the international forces are. If you ask them for a one-state solution, what's the military look like? Are the IDF going to hand over control to the Palestinian Authority, to Hamas, or to a population that mostly supports Hamas? Like, how do you convince them to do that? Like, are they going to share intelligence? Are like people who are former Hamas fighters and former IDF soldiers going to sit down and determine the border situation or how they relate in terms of other countries for security? It doesn't make any sense. But getting them to just like, if you just ask that basic question, they would be very hard pressed to even envision something good there or feasible.
That was a good analysis, by the way. I like that analysis.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I have
thanks.
Kind of off-topic question for Loner. Have you ever had someone make the argument of deport all the Jews to America / Brooklyn, and also at the same time get Jewish money out of our political system? It seems like HYUK would make that. Maybe not in the same sentence, but
he would say
both of those in conversation.
He would say Israeli. They're very different. Israelis don't have anything to do with Jewishness.
Yeah, but we know what
it's like. The Fuentes crowd would say that. Yeah, they would say Jews. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, sorry. I think right-leaning would probably say both of that, depending on what line. But I'm wondering if you've talked to any more left-leaning people like Sink that have made that or would.
No, left-wingers are very. You will never catch a left-winger saying like. Well, maybe actually Mike from PA did it once where he said Jew when he meant to say Zionist. But yeah, no. Usually left-wingers will say Zionist. But again, there's a reason for that. Like anti-Zionism, like I do consider it like in a degree. In some forms, like anti-Zionism just becomes a form of bigotry, but it is different from like right-wing anti-Semitism. It's like they don't believe a lot of the same tropes. They actually oppose a lot of them. Like they do speak a different language and they use different analysis. So yeah, it's probably worth distinguishing them somewhat.
Okay, I can agree with that. I still think they mostly mean vaguely the same thing. There gets to a point where you go past the line and you're just saying Jew, but there's definitely a point where you're.
Well, I don't think you really believe they mean the same thing, right? Like when Hassan says Zionist or whatever with whatever vitriol, you don't think he's sitting there doubting like the Holocaust numbers, right? He probably isn't. He definitely isn't.
I'm just talking about the bigotry towards Jews in particular and just coding it in different language.
Well, hold on. I guess that depends, though. Are you classifying like Islamic kind of rhetoric as like left leaning or right leaning? Because I mean, I know it probably differs in the UK.
It's confused. It should be. Yeah, it's confused is what it is. Like it's right wing in practice. Yeah, but like obviously left wingers sympathize with it. So.
Yeah, so I guess that's just because if you include them, I've definitely heard like. The only reason I ask is because if you include them, then you would include like left leaning going, hey, okay, well, they've said things like they deny the Holocaust. I can think of like several examples, But if you think that, oh, well, they're kind of this weird thing, I think you're right in that where they're actually conservative, but they're on the side of the left at the moment. It's like they're going, oh, I don't know. I just wanted to throw that out there. I guess I don't.
Well, and also when we get to like this amount of like esoteric politics outside the that which would be considered like more classical liberalism, conservative starts losing its value unless you literally just mean to conserve, which would completely change depending on the culture that we're talking about, right? So it's very hard to paint these in broad strokes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say like my impression as somebody that's not like in the space like you are, but like it seems that a lot of those people are trying very hard to convey a leftist message and disguise it in a form that would be appealing to people like Islamists. And like I think that's like a form of propaganda that they feel like would be effective at getting a leftist message across to the
It's
Islamic
actually,
street.
I would argue it's the other way around. You know, you ever hear people say that Hamas made a more, you ever hear people say that Hamas made a more moderate or progressive charter in 2017? You ever heard that claim?
I've heard people say it.
Yeah. Okay. So it's not, first of all, it's not a charter. It never actually formally replaced the old one. The old one's still there. They even their leaders will literally say like we haven't disowned anything from the first one. The new one's a PR document. It is different. It doesn't talk about Jews anymore like the first one does. But if you notice what's going on in the new one, the updated one, none of the conclusions have changed. None of the policies change. It still wants all of Palestine to be an Islamic state from the river to the sea, all of Israel and Palestine. And it doesn't disown any of the strategies to do it. It doesn't disown suicide bombings or targeting civilians or anything else. It doesn't disown like jihad and militant action. It's all the same. It's like in policy and conclusion is the same, but the language is completely different. The 2017 Charter is all about colonialism and indigenous rights and resisting the oppressor, whereas the old Charter is all about how fucking Jews will hide behind trees and the tree will say there's a Jew behind me and go and kill them, right? So it's like, but the interesting thing there is that the repackaging of like that kind of anti-Jewish narrative from the Islamic extremist world is a lot of it has been repackaged to please like left-wingers and to use left-wing language, even though the conclusions are the same. So I think that's what's happened, is that they speak the language of leftists.
I have to leave.
The other way around.
Thank you so much, guys. I'm sorry to interrupt. I have to leave. Thank you so much, Lonerbox, for the debate. It's fun. Dev, till next time. The rest of y'all have a good rest of y'all's night.
Have a good one, Gibbs.
Have a good evening.
I was going to say, Gabe, just always remember, today's a good day. You're not stream rift.
God, man, that streamer of God just seems to be fucking evil. Like Gibbs is wrong. He's like a good person at heart, but streamer just seems fucking evil. Holy shit.
Yeah, he's a.
Wait, was that the guy that was on at the end?
Yeah,
and was like doing the J6 revision stuff.
Yeah, the guy he was on for the whole thing, wasn't he? Yeah, the beardy guy.
Yep.
No, he left and he came back.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I only saw him for like an hour and a half, and it felt like a fever dream.
I didn't even miss him. Shit. Yeah, he was mental.
God, no. Sorry.
He's a bad dude.
Is he? If he was still here, my question for him was going to be like, what's a good chili recipe? And like just see if it's an inability to like form thoughts well, or if it's just a willingness to lie about politics.
People like that, like you can tell. I need to pick out an example, but you can tell when people are being intentionally like dishonest or manipulative. The way he kept saying like, "Oh, I don't know anything about the slates. I don't really know much about the slates." But then he seems to, when you bring it up, he seems to have all the fucking talking points about it. Like it's the legal theory and like, "Oh, what's wrong with that?" They just wanted to count like these are intentional lies, not like not him just being like slow. Yeah.
And then also like whenever he wasn't talking, I would just look at him and he's like doing the sneaky smile to his audience, like, yeah, I know what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, he was like laughing at multiple points, which is when I assumed bad faith, right? Like you would bring up the counterpoint and then he would start laughing.
Yeah.
Are we talking about Drew?
No.
Who's Drew?
Pavlu.
Oh. Okay.
Oh, fuck.
Well, I mean, we might as well be, right? It's same thing, different face.
Well, I don't know if that guy is an idiot or if he's actually bad faith. I can't tell.
No, Drew is like a grifter.
Drew
is like a grifter and stupid. He's like Drew's the kind of guy that like his first objective is to get people to pay attention to him, and then the ideology comes second, right? So when Bernie Bros were popular, he was one of those. Then when Ukraine and like Western foreign policy was popular, he did that. But now that none of the liberals really like him, and you notice even last year, it's funny that he was fighting with Destiny so much, because last year he spent so much time trying to worm his way into the DGG community and become friendly with them. But Destiny was never interested, and people like me, I was never interested, and Pisco was never interested. But he was trying to court like all of us and get friendships with us, but because we didn't really tolerate him, then he decided that he does, whenever he shits on Muslims and immigration and stuff like that, he does get likes from Elon Musk and retweets and attention from them. So he's just moved there. That's it.
Which one's Drew? Who's Drew?
Drew Pavlou.
Oh, he showed up.
Twitter
user. Showed up in like a few streams ago. I got him confused with someone else because it was like a similar complaint.
Yeah, I was thinking about Drew and Destiny's community. I'm like, I don't think we're talking about the same Drew. My bad.
Oh, I guess Dev. Like we've chatted on Reddit about this a couple times. Okay. So basically, my theory is that like so much of what's happening right now is actually just like social media induced schizophrenia.
Whoa.
Where it's like people hear voices in their head all the time, and then they just repeat that, but it's like they're actually hearing a real voice. It's just coming from like a talking head that's lying or whatever, you know?
Their Twitter feed's just in their brain 24/7?
Yes. Like that I believe that is true. It's like the only thing that can explain the interactions that I've had with like my family.
Right. Now, I was talking to a non-political YouTuber in private. He doesn't talk politics on his channel, but like we talk about it sometimes, right? So I was talking to him, and he said something, I think it was last night. He said something along the lines of, like, social media has probably contributed to just the general brain rotting because everyone is always connected now. Everyone always knows what's happening, and there's probably just some... if we're talking about why the political discourse has decayed, it's probably because people are constantly plugged into it. I think there's probably some truth to that.
Okay.
Yeah, and the metric on social media isn't truthfulness or anything other than just like how much attention can you grab, right? On whether that's rage bait or not, that's the medium that is shows popular posts
and
so
oh my god,
it's really bad.
Back when I was going on like the anti-woke panels before they all kind of stopped talking to me, when I was going on those panels, like the Gamergate type guys, I was trying to tell them, like, listen, the stuff that goes viral isn't true, right? Like the whole free marketplace of ideas thing doesn't really work because humans don't seek out truth, they seek out comfort. The stuff that goes viral is stuff that it just feels good. It's not what's actually happening.
Yeah, like the Stephen Colbert truthy, right?
The truthiness.
Yeah, the truthiness.
I'm gonna fuck off, guys. Take care. Bye.
Yeah.
All right.
Good impromptu 2v2. Yeah, I feel like I'm in safe hands when I'm 2v2ing with Dev on January 6th. Do you know what? I really hate History Speaks. I really hate him because he's the kind of person who is clever enough to actually he would be good for like challenging conversations on the issue. It's just that he's a fucking liar. He's just a disgusting person. He's like, and kind of creepy as well, like the obsessiveness, like the stalking and shit.